It played on a state championship team for the Wildcats, and then of course went to Ohio State, was part of a championship team for the Buckeyes. So Ryan's a guy that knows about winning football, and he was under Chuck Kyle for many years.
Well, take a look at the staff over there. That's a loaded. I mean, you got Elvis Gerback as a quarterback coach over here. That's a pretty high pedigree staff over there. They got to get the players to play up to their level.
You know what, Tom? Let's flip the coin, because for all the years that I did high school football on WEOL, and now starting tonight and in previous years with the mobile app and WEOL.com, Mike Elder has kept his staff intact for the most part, and that has been a huge component to their success.
It's incredible that these guys have been together so long, and you know, they know what to expect from each other. And there's something to be said for that, because as a coach, when you know that you don't have to go over step by step with the offensive line coach what the breakdown's going to be that week, because he's done it so many times before, there's a comfort in that. And there's also a comfort in knowing what they're going to expect from Mike. They know what the expectations are. They know what Mike demands of the staff, and they've done that, and they stuck around. And again, I'll say it ad nauseum, I don't know that anybody gets a team better week to week than this Avon staff does. I watch them through the playoffs. Every year in the playoffs, they'll have a special teams play that's something they picked up on film. We saw it against Toledo Central Catholic a couple of years ago out in Clyde, where they kind of stole the game away from a pretty talented football team out there, but they saw some things in special teams, took advantage of that, won a game that I don't think a lot of people thought they were going to come away with a win. But don't ever sell Mike's group short, because they find ways.
We're just about ready to get it underway here at Avon as the Eagles prepare to defend their Division II state championship. The Eagles in their black uniforms tonight, black shirts, black shorts with the gold letters and numbers and the gold trim, and Ignatius will take the field in their white uniforms. They've got white shirts, white shorts with the blue letters and numbers, and of course that signature gold helmet of St. Ignatius. Huge thank you, by the way, goes out to the sponsors who are once again on board for high school football coverage on the WEOL mobile app and online, and of course now on the YouTube channel via the Chronicle Telegram's YouTube channel. Nick Abraham, Elyria Ford, Eco Tree Services, Stewart's TV and Appliance, and of course Valley Chevrolet. Great to have them all on board with us as we get set to bring you what's going to be outstanding coverage throughout the 2025 high school football season. And this crowd is revved up and ready to go. Tom, I got here pretty early. You and I met in the parking lot, and there weren't a whole lot of parking spaces left.
No, it was filling up early. These are some premium seats here tonight, and the fans got here early, and they're ready for a good one.
So Avon will get it first as they will go right to left. They will be heading towards the American flag, the parking lot, which I just mentioned, down to our left. Ignatius here in the first quarter of play will be going left to right as they'll be heading towards that huge student section of Avon down to our right. That's where the band is located as well, and the scoreboard. So here we go. Teeing it up for St. Ignatius is Griffin Roberts as the ball is put down at the 40-yard line. And we are just about ready to get the 2025 high school football season underway.
Looks like Caden Bennett back deep for the Eagles.
Ready to go, as are the guys on the field. We're just waiting for the official indication. And this season is underway. High end-over-end kick. And before it's even fielded, we've got whistles blowing. And we're going to have an offsides against St. Ignatius. Boy, all that anticipation.
Yeah, not to start the Wildcats we're looking for after a 1-10 season to come out and be offsides on the very first kickoff of the year.
Well, that'll put the ball back now to the 35-yard line, as Ignatius will do it again. Again, Ignatius really looking to bounce back from a tough season. And, of course, that tough season started with a loss to Avon. They played at Cleveland Brown Stadium last year. Avon jumped out to a 21-0 lead, and then teams pretty much traded scores for the rest of the night. Avon coming away with a 41-21 win last year.
Just a lot of you saw the firepower that Avon had last year against Ignatius, an Ignatius secondary that was pretty stout. And boy, Nolan Good, the Kent State he's moved on to Kent State, really did a nice job of picking them apart.
So here we go. We'll try it again. There's another end-over-end kick, and that will drive Caden Bennett all the way back into the end zone. So even after losing 5 yards on an offside penalty, it'll be a touchback, and Avon will have it first, but no return for the Eagles, as we're just about set to see our first offensive series for Avon. And their quarterback is 6'1" senior Blake Elder. And yes, he is the son of Avon head coach Mike Elder. Saw some action last year. Threw 20 passes, completed 11, had a couple of touchdown throws. And Tom, you just alluded to Nolan Good, who of course was a D1 quarterback. And Nolan, one of the long list of great Avon quarterbacks. And now Blake Elder, the senior, gets his shot.
Blake actually played a little bit more 2 years ago. When Good got hurt, and really they made a run at Hoban that year in the playoffs.
There's an inside handoff to Keontae Smith, and he didn't get anything as Smith got bottled up at the 20-yard line. No gain on the play. That'll make it 2nd down and 10. And again, Keontae Smith is another young man. That was a key component to that 2024 state championship team for Avon. He rushed for over 600 yards last year. Didn't get anything there. 2nd down and 10. Avon going right to left. Elder looking, now rolling left. Thought about a pass, takes off, popped out of bounds into the Avon bench at about the 26, maybe the 27-yard line.
Nice block by Keontae Smith on that. He kind of flared out to this side. And when he saw Blake was going to run the football, turned it up and picked off the inside linebacker. So Blake picked up about an extra 3 or 4 yards on that one.
Caden Clappin now checks in the game for Avon. We'll set that Eagle offensive line. Jack Fitch is the center. Braden Patrick, Caden Krugman are the guards, with Max Hawk and Ian Engelhardt the tackles. 3rd down and 4. Elder, play action. He's going to hang it deep down the left side, and it's caught at the 40 and dropped inside the 40 at about the 37-yard line. Grant Barr, 6-foot senior. It was basic one-on-one coverage, and Grant Barr went up and won that battle.
And boy, he put that where, Barr was about the only guy that could get that. He threw that little, that deep fade there, and Barr backed up on it and had his man beat. Nice throw and catch.
Big play for Avon, gives them a 1st down at the Ignatius 37-yard line. Elder, right side, hands off. Keontae Smith again bottled up. So twice they've tried to get some room for Keontae Smith, and twice the St. Ignatius defense has been ready.
And that down 4 from St. Ignatius really got some good penetration early on against the running game.
Luke Spinos, Josh Hansen, David Hughes are the down linemen. Nick Rivera, middle linebacker, with James Conrad and Quinn Kennedy on the outside. 2nd and 9, Avon at the Ignatius 36-yard line. 2 minutes off the first quarter clock. As Avon on their first possession of the night. Elder in that pistol formation. Elder, inside handoff. Again, Smith will try it, and got a couple of yards there, but it's tough going as he is thrown down at about the 31-yard line.
And I think we're really in 4-down territory for Mike Elder right now with the way that what we've seen out of him in previous years.
Keontae Smith managed to wiggle his way to the 31-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 4, and as Tom just said, when you're at about the 30-yard line, 4-down territory. So let's see what the Eagle offensive staff dials up right here. Ball is at the right hash mark as the Eagles bunch up on a 3rd and 4 at the 31. Blake Elder gets the snap. He's going to keep it himself. Elder looking for a block, and he is thrown down. And actually, that wasn't Elder. That was Grant Barr. They had moved him into a wildcat formation. Barr took the snap, tried to get some room to the left, and there was nothing there. Thrown down. It's now 4th down and 4.
Nice pursuit by the Wildcat defense. They had that tight bunch formation. It looked like they had him outnumbered on the corner, but the Wildcats did a nice job of flowing to the football.
Well, Tom called it. Definitely 4-down territory. So here we go. 4th and 4. And now we're going to have a flag.
Legal participation.
Legal
he broke the huddle with 12.
Yep. So all of a sudden, 4th and 4, which is certainly manageable, becomes a more challenging 4th down and 9 as they put the ball back to the 36-yard line. Ignatius in the secondary. Owen O'Brien is one cornerback with Caden Marvin, the other CB. And then 3 safeties, basically a 3-3-5 defense. Jay-Sean Thomas, Michael Packer, and Ryan Whalen comprise the secondary. So now it's 4th and 9 at the 36-yard line. Elder gets the snap. Elder in the pocket, throws, and it's knocked down. And so on 4th down, the Eagles can't convert. Ignatius comes up with the stop. Of course, the penalty didn't help Avon in that scenario either, but the ball will go over on downs to the Wildcats.
Yeah, they had the screen set up to Smith there on the right-hand side, but Wildcats didn't fall for it. Those linemen held their ground and knocked that one down. Big turnover for the Wildcats to start the game here.
So the Wildcats will have it for the first time with 8:12 to go here in the first quarter of play. Avon, after a huge completion from Elder to Barb, sees the drive stall. And now Ignatius going left to right, heading towards the scoreboard down to our right. Has it first down and 10. They're at their own 36-yard line, inside handoff, and not much there for Owen Colwell, senior running back. Saw plenty of action last year for the Wildcats, just under 500 yards rushing in 2024 for Owen Colwell. It'll make it second down and 9. It was a 1-yard gain as Daniel Chalou takes the snap. Handoff, looking for room left side. Colwell turns the corner, but then he got upended at the 39-yard line. Wow. He tried to go to the wide side of the field, and right in front of that Ignatius bench, he did basic somersault on the play.
It looked like Caden Clapton coming up from that corner spot on that time. We talked about him a little bit early.
So now it's 3rd down and 7 for the Wildcats. They're at their own 39-yard line. Looking right, Chalou throws to the right. Tried to get it to Colwell. Nothing doing. Colwell got hit as soon as he made the catch. 5'9" senior cornerback Alex Rivera came up and delivered the shot to drop Colwell.
And they tried to clear out. They had trips to the side. Rivera wasn't buying it. He let the receiver go and kind of sat in the flat and was right there ready for the swing pass.
So the Eagles are stout defensively on the first possession of the night for St. Ignatius. Clock continues to run. 6:38 to go first quarter. So each team now will give it back to the other on a punt. Back deep for Avon is Caden Bennett. And that kick almost blocked. High end over end kick. Bennett has it at the 20, to the 25, to the 30, and ridden down into that Eagle bench down below us at the 30-yard line. Again, great to have you with us on the WEOL mobile app. And of course, we're on the Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel. So for those of you that are watching, we welcome you in. And of course, WEOL.com. As it's a new listening and now viewing experience for all you high school football fans that just love this game across Northeast Ohio. And of course, Tom, as we've known for many, many years with the streaming, basically it's worldwide. I mean, you get listeners all over the country, all over the world that want to follow their hometown team and perhaps relatives that are playing on the team or whatever the case may be. So
that's
wherever you may be listening.
Really been some of the fun of it, getting the text from Florida or wherever out west, somebody tuning into a game, a local game.
By the way, you're more than welcome to post on Twitter or wherever you may be listening or now watching on the Chronicle Telegram YouTube page. Of course, you can follow me on, see, I made the mistake of calling it Twitter. I'm so old school, Tom.
Yeah,
old school. See, I say that all season long when I'm calling some basketball.
Would you get with it? Come on, X.
Yeah, follow me on X at Cavs Elkhorn. There you go, at Cavs Elkhorn. Tom, I know you're on X as well, correct?
Yeah, I got to look up I don't even remember what my handle is anymore.
We'll have to work with you on that, my friend.
Ryan Whelan going off with some help there, the senior defensive back from Ignatius, hurt on that punt.
Second possession for Avon. They'll start this drive at their own 30-yard line. Scoreless ball game. Blake Elder has time. Looks to the far side, and he overshot Finn Jordanic, junior wide receiver, as the ball sailed over his head right in front of the Wildcat bench. That'll make it 2nd down and 10.
That long short out's one of the toughest throws for a high school quarterback to make, and Blake did a nice job of laying it out there. I don't know that his receiver was ready for it, quite honestly.
Make it 2nd down and 10 at the 30. Again, for those of you not watching on the Chronicle Telegram YouTube page, just listening, give you the visualization of Avon going right to left, as a lot of the field's still now in sunlight. There's an inside handoff, and again, Ignatius has stuffed the run so far here tonight.
And you talked about
no gain.
You talked about Ignatius coming out in that 3-3-5, but actually they're in a 4-4 right now. They're rolling a linebacker up, giving a 4-man front, and they're rolling those 2 safeties up on the outside. So they're giving a 4-4 look that's daring Avon to throw the football. They're saying, you're not going to beat us running the football right now. They're stacking the box. They are really taking the gaps away from the Eagles right now.
Tom, I want to ask you a question about that after this play. 3rd down and 10. Ball still at the 30-yard line with 5.5 to go here in the first quarter. Scoreless game with Avon and Ignatius. Elder looking, throwing, and it's almost picked off at the 40-yard line. Going up for Ignatius and getting an arm on it was Quinn Kennedy. Almost had the pick. But Tom, you mentioned Ignatius is not going to let Avon, or at least so far, run the football. How much of that goes all the way back to game 1 of last year?
Oh, absolutely. Without question. They came out and they dictated the flow of the game, and Ignatius says, no, we're not going to let that happen to us this year. And they're doing some different things defensively. They're really showing, they're giving Avon a lot of different looks. On that last play, they gave him a 5-man front look. At one point in time, they had 7 guys on the line. They dropped 2 linebackers off, so they're giving them a lot of different defensive looks right now. They know Blake Elder's a first-year starter. They're going to see what he's adjusting to.
It's interesting as we have a timeout on the field, so we'll keep it right here. No score with 5:25 to go in the first quarter. But, Tom, Mike Elder, his son Blake, now the quarterback, as you alluded to, but 19 years as the head coach. But there's still tendencies there, correct? That Avon likes to do this. Even though they might change or tweak something, for the most part, this is the system that Mike runs, and so coaches scout off that.
Absolutely, and the changes in the system are often predicated by the players. You know, Mike's had a 1-2 punch in the running back the last couple of years, and they were always going to come out and hammer you early on and control the line of scrimmage and get that running game started. We've seen years where Mike's strength was in the wideouts. He'd have 3 wideouts, and you just couldn't match up with 2 corners, and he'd start by spreading the ball out and throwing it. So Mike always knows what he has personnel-wise, and it's a balanced offense in the end. In the end, it always looks very, very balanced numbers-wise, but he does it in different ways, different seasons.
I was just going to say, it's how he achieves that balance.
Yep.
That changes. But again, give credit to St. Ignatius head coach Ryan Franziger, as we mentioned, perhaps going deep into that video archive to pull out game 1 of 2024 to say, hey, what did Avon do last year that we have to adjust to now in game 1 of 2025? So off the timeout, Avon will punch as Ignatius just stuffed the Eagles on that possession. There's a line drive kick, and it will bounce out of bounds into the Avon bench. Just outside the 40-yard line. We'll call it the 43 for Ignatius. 1st down and 10. Well, you know, there's been some changes as we bring you this game tonight between the Eagles and the Wildcats on the WEOL mobile app and on the Chronicle Telegram's YouTube page. But, you know, Tom, they say the more things change, the more they stay the same. Yes, tomorrow night, more high school football coverage. And then Saturday, the wrap-up show is still a part of the coverage. Jared Kozar, who's sitting right below us, telling us that, yeah, he's going to have that wrap-up show Saturday morning with Rocco. I loved that show.
Looking forward to stepping in a few times this year and maybe helping out with that a little bit.
Chalhoub looks, throws complete to the 50-yard line, eluding a tackle, and then brought down was Marcus Takancic. Takancic able to cross the midfield stripe, though, dropped at the Avon 49-yard line. Set that Eagle defense for you. Max Hauk is the nose guard with Nolan Robke and Lance Dawson, the defensive ends. 4 linebackers, Jacob Odie and Ryan Stolarski in the middle with Jackson Brokaw and Ben Strichik, the outside backers. Second down play. Here's Colwell up the middle, and that Avon defense is there to stuff it. Basically no gain on the play. We'll set up 3rd down and 2.
Ignatius brings back a lot of skilled position players, but that offensive line is all new. The one offensive lineman that would have been back is actually down at IMG Academy this year. He transferred out, so that's 5 new starters on the offensive line for the Wildcats this year.
3rd down and 2 at the 49-yard line as Ignatius looks to keep the drive alive. Pressure is on, rolling left, and just throwing it into the Ignatius bench was Jalub. And it'll set up a 4th and 2. Boy, what does Ignatius decide to do right here?
Coach, they're playing pretty good. They're playing pretty good defense. I don't know that you roll the dice right here, and they're going to have to stay out of 3rd and long situations. Although that was 3rd and 2, I almost thought he might run the ball in that situation because he's had a little bit better luck there. But you definitely don't want to get in this situation where this Avon defense is teeing off on you. They give you a lot of different looks and they come at you from a lot of different places. And with that young offensive line, that's going to be tough on them.
I'm sorry, Tom. No. And Jalub rolled to the short side of the field. Didn't have a lot of room to operate. The punt is high but short. Fair catch called for at the 20-yard line, and then a lot of traffic able to hang on to it for Avon. Making that fair catch was Ahmad Selch. So it'll be 1st down and 10 for the Eagles as the 2 defenses are dominating here so far after a game that was a 41-21 final last year. As there were some fireworks down at First Energy Stadium in downtown Cleveland. Well, tonight, defensive units for both sides have played well. No score, 4:10 to go, 1st quarter. Tim Elkhorn along with Tom Evans. Great to have you with us as we bring it to you from Avon. So the Eagles will try it for the 3rd time on the offensive end. There's another inside handoff, and again, absolutely nothing doing.
And again, Ignatius giving some different looks. They start with a 5-man front. They drop to a 3-5 look. They were, again, really 8 guys in the box. And Darren Avon going to have to throw the football if you're going to beat us.
2nd down and 9 at the 23-yard line. Ball's at the left hash mark. So the short side of the field is here on the Avon side as 3 receivers go to the right. The wide side of the field, Elder all by himself in the pistol. Quick hitter to the left, complete to Jacob Weatherspoon. He's got room down the left sideline out over the 40 before he's popped out of bounds into the Eagle bench at about the 45. And, of course, Jacob Weatherspoon has committed to North Carolina. The Bill Belichick connection down there is attractive to Jacob Weatherspoon. But, boy, he can be electric when he gets his hands on the football.
And he primarily plays defense for Avon. I think that's where he's projected to play at in college. But, again, there's a situation they get him a little slip screen, and he's going to make a lot of things happen on his own.
1st and 10 at the 43. Elder looks, throws near side. It's incomplete. Tried to thread the needle on that one, looking for Sammy Ullery, 5'11 senior.
Yeah, Grant didn't make a good read on that one. As the receiver, they went deep, kind of cleared, and they jumped the middle route on that.
And now we're going to see Trevor Maley come in for Blake Elder. And again, this is something that Mike Elder has done in his 19 years at the helm. He likes to get second quarterbacks in, get them experience. Trevor Maley, of course, is a senior. Maley fakes the handoff, keeps it himself, and on the left side gets dumped at the 46-yard line. Short gain of 3 for Trevor Maley. And that'll get Blake Elder back in the game for a 3rd down and 7 for the Eagles. Under 3 minutes to go, 1st quarter. We're scoreless here in Avon. Great to have you with us on WEOL's website, WEOL.com, and their mobile app. And yes, on YouTube, on the Chronicle Telegram's YouTube page. All sorts of time on the play clock. We're at 15 seconds, so Blake Elder with a look over at the Eagle bench as he gets the play call. Again, ball at the left hash mark. Elder gets the snap, has all sorts of time, goes far sideline, pass is caught at the 41, and look out with room is Jordanic down the right sideline before he's pushed out of bounds inside the 20, all the way to the Ignatius 18-yard line.
And that's that out to the far side of the field. That he ran that about 12 yards, and nobody out there for Ignatius. They covered the short man, they jumped the deep man, they left the middle man wide open, and he did a lot with it after he got the ball.
So they're in the red zone, the Eagles are. First down and 10 with 2:20 to go. First quarter, looking to break this scoreless tie. Blake Elder shielding his eyes as he looks over to the bench. Again, the press box is here on the west side, and the sun is behind us.
Ignatius called for offsides.
Yep.
So
first
and 5 for the Eagles.
Penalty flag will push it now to the 13-yard line. First and 5.
Every head coach's favorite play call, 1st and 5.
What would you call, Coach? Back in your day, that was a handoff.
Yeah, it's a handoff, yeah.
Elder gets the snap. He's not handing off. He's throwing, and it's incomplete. Tried on the near side in the end zone to Grant Barr.
Looking for Grant. I think
overshot him.
Grant might have turned around a little bit too early on that. If he'd have run that corner route, that's where Grant was throwing the ball to the corner. I think Barr just turned around a little bit too soon on that one.
It's interesting. Fans will watch or listen to a game, and more often than not, a quarterback is throwing to a location
spot.
He's throwing to a spot.
He's throwing to that back cone.
So it's now 2nd down and 5. Avon is at the Ignatius 13-yard line with 2:08 to go here in the first quarter of play. Elder, inside handoff. There's a hole down to the 5, and gang tackled at the 5-yard line.
Conrad, the senior linebacker, in there on the tackle.
Yep, that was Cam Wendell on the carry.
And Cam's their short yardage guy. They like to hammer with Cam.
And he gained over 400 yards last year. First and goal from the 6. There's a handoff to Wendell, and he'll power his way inside the 5 to the 4, maybe even to 3. Let's see where they spot it. But Avon at this point knocking on the door. 1:40 to go here in the first quarter. Eagles trying to break this scoreless tie. The Eagles on their 3rd possession of the night, trying to punch it in and get their first points of the 25 season. Again, all sorts of time on that play clock as Avon breaks the huddle with 15 seconds still to snap the ball. Blake Elder will now come up under center. Ball spotted at the 3-yard line. Elder turns, hands off, and Wendell is dumped at the 2-yard line.
Nick Rivera, the linebacker for Ignatius, with some penetration that time. Stopped that before it got going.
Nick Rivera, senior inside linebacker. Again, it's been tough sledding for Avon on the ground, and it's now 3rd and goal at the 1-yard line.
And, looking over this Ignatius defense, I think they brought back 6 to the front 7 from last year.
We got Blake Elder in the pistol. Ball to left hash mark. Elder turns, hands off, spinning, and in for the touchdown for the Avon Eagles is Keontae Smith. And Avon draws first blood. It's a 6-0 Eagle lead as Keontae Smith, who scored 13 touchdowns last year, has his first in 2025.
Keontae with a nice spin to get in the end zone that time. I don't know if he doesn't have that little half spin if he gets in or not.
Keontae Smith puts the Eagles on top, 6-0. And now Jensen Petro will attempt the extra point, which is up, and it is good. So a nice drive by the Eagles as on their 3rd possession of the night, they punch it in, a 1-yard touchdown run from Keontae Smith. Avon has a 7-0 lead with 7:28 to go here in the first period. Tom, did you see anything different on that 3rd drive?
No, I just think that Avon's going to stay committed to it. I think they're spreading things out a little bit. But still getting a lot of different looks from St. Ignatius that time. Still getting some penetration up front. The big plays, obviously, the 2 pass plays in that drive to get them down close. They hammered it in, though. They brought Cam Wendell in. He's going to be that short yardage guy to kind of get some tough yards for him, and then Keontae finishes it off. But really still doing kind of the same things. I just think that, Mike's going to stick with the plan a little bit.
And it's interesting, Tom, because so often on the stat sheet, those small penalties add up.
Right.
That was only a 5-yard offside, but that put the ball
Huge.
at the 13 rather than the 8.
Yep. And again, the play calling becomes a whole lot different then, too.
So Avon with a 7-0 lead with 28 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Great to have you with us. Tim Elkhorn along with Tom Evans, Gary Pelter, running the camera. Now, I've known Pelt a long time. And
the human highlighter.
Yes, he has been an expert cameraman for as long as I've known him. So I know the folks who are watching this on the Chronicle Telegram YouTube page are getting great looks from Pelt. Of course, Pelt's very used to getting great looks. So Ignatius will now try to respond as the Eagles will kick off. It's a bouncing kick, scooped up at about the 12-yard line. And with some room out over the 20 to the 30 to the 40. And then losing the football on the return. And Ignatius is saying they were able to come out with it. Boy, that ball popped up about helmet high. And there was a scrum. To cross-reference your sports terms, that was a rugby scrum at about the 48, but Ignatius came out of there with it. Huge break for the Wildcats.
That was Billy Cole picking up that bouncing kickoff there, broke a couple tackles, and really Avon uncharacteristically with not good coverage on a kickoff.
By the way, for Avon, after tonight, the old saying, paraphrased, go south, young man. They're going to play in Florida next week. Very cool experience for the kids. Playing the team out of North Carolina. 1st and 10 for Ignatius. They're at their own 48-yard line.
Oh.
Chalhoub looks, throws. That ball bounced in, and it's incomplete as he was looking for Trey Haddad.
Chalhoub didn't see that one coming.
They get 2nd down and 10. Of course, Trey Haddad, another one of those Haddads at Ignatius. Boy, they've had some great football players. Drew Haddad. Oh, my goodness.
It's Alex Rivera, the linebacker, coming on the blitz that last time that got to Chalhoub right as he let it go.
This Avon defense is stacked with D1 commits. I mean, they've got guys that have already said we're going on to play major college football. Here's Chalhoub out of that pistol, 2nd down and 10. Handoff right side and tripped up at the 48-yard line. Looking for room was Jacob Babinski.
And, for years we talked about the offense here at Avon. That spread offense, them getting the ball around. These last 3 or 4 years, the defense has been stifling for the Eagles. They've always been solid, but they've been stifling the last 3 or 4 years. And as you mentioned, quite a few of these guys off the D1 commits right now on that defensive side of the ball.
I'll tell you about those guys and where they're going as we get into the second quarter. But the first quarter is in the books. Avon with a 7-0 lead over St. Ignatius. 1 quarter down here at Avon. Coming back after this on the WEOL mobile app. Of course, on the Chronicle Telegram's YouTube page and Tom online.
At WEOL.com.
At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford this month, you choose. Right now, get the Escape, Mach-E, Mustang, or Bronco Sport for only $399 a month with 0 down. Or the Bronco, Explorer, or F-150 for just $499 a month. At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
Tonight's game is brought to you by Stewart's Appliance. Family owned, locally trusted, and proud to support Lorain County. Whether it's a new fridge, washer, or stove, Stewart's is here for you. Stewart's Appliance, serving families, supporting community.
To Avon, 7-0. Eagles with the lead at the end of 1 as the 2 teams will switch sides, although not a very far walk with the ball being at the 48-yard line. Tim Elkhorn along with Tom Evans. Great to have you with us. And, of course, a Thursday night opener means more high school football coming your way on the WEOL mobile app and online and on the Chronicle Telegram YouTube page on Friday night. I'll tell you about that as the evening moves along. But we start quarter number 2 with Ignatius now going right to left. They're heading towards the parking lot, which you could not fit another car into. I don't care how small it is. Man, it is just packed here tonight. 3rd and 10 for the Wildcats. Chalhoub out of the pistol, but we had a guy breaking early. Shane O'Leary, the tight end for St. Ignatius, jumped that snap count. And 3rd and 10 now becomes 3rd and 15. But Tom, let's talk about these D1 guys. Lance Dawson, defensive end. He's already committed to Cincinnati. He'll be a Bearcat. We mentioned earlier Jacob Weatherspoon. He's heading to North Carolina. Max Hauk, the nose guard. He has an offer on the table from Kent, but certainly a Division I player. And inside linebacker Ryan Stolarski, he's heading to Miami of Ohio.
And those are the key. Those are the bricks that are the key to this defense too. And look how strong they are up the middle. That's nose tackle, middle linebacker, and safety. And that's, as a defense, you want to be strong up the middle, just like in baseball. And these Avon Eagles certainly are.
Wow, I worked in a rugby scrum. You worked in a baseball, strong up the middle. How does an NBA voice stand here and not work in a basketball?
You know, I'm not going to get a basketball reference in here, Tim, unless it's a slam dunk.
Oh, 3rd and 15. Quick throw to the right, and it's completed. But there was absolutely nowhere for Haddad to go after he made the catch at the 40-yard line. That's a loss of 3.
And we talked about that earlier. They cannot get in those situations because they're not able to block this down 4 for Avon. And Avon, of course, is looking at 3rd and 10, and they're saying screen, screen, screen. So they sit on the screen on both sides, and nothing happens there.
So it'll be 4th and a mile for Ignatius, and now before the punt is booted, you've got whistles blowing and flags flying. Well, this has not been a very efficient possession for St. Ignatius.
I think we got an equipment. I think we got an equipment thing. The referee sent the punter off.
Boy, how often do you see that? And so indeed, you're going to have somebody new come in for St. Ignatius to kick that football. It's going to be Griffin Roberts. So no penalty, but it'll be Griffin Roberts now to kick it as he stands at his own 25 for the Wildcats. Good snap. And Roberts again under pressure. He got run into. There goes the flag as it's a short kick. And it's downed at the 35-yard line. Now here's the thing. It was will be running into the kicker? Yes. Running into the kicker. They did not call roughing the kicker. Huge distinction there because let's see what Ignatius elects to do. It was a short punt, but it would still be 4th and long.
They marked the 5 off.
But I think with that being a short punt.
Mike's arguing that this guy got pushed in to no avail.
Well, one thing we've seen from Mike Elder in his 19 years, he gets to know the officials in front of the Eagle bench very, very well.
He certainly does.
Well, they are going to have Ignatius kick again as St. Ignatius saying, yeah, that first punt was a little too shy, so we'll pick up the 5 yards and try it again. As Roberts that time gets away a spiraling long kick, and the fair catch is called for at the 17-yard line.
That turns out to be about a 15 or 20-yard penalty there, with just in the change in field position.
So Avon will now have a long field, but they're on top 7-0 with 11:17 to go here in the first half of play. Coming up at the intermission, EcoTree Services halftime show brought to you by EcoTree Services, your complete tree care company. I know Mickey over at EcoTree has been feeling a little under the weather as of late. I'm not spilling any secrets here because she has indeed had some social media posts about that. So Mickey, if you're listening and or watching on the Chronicle Telegram YouTube page, wishing you all the best and a speedy recovery. First down and 10, Elder looking left, throwing left, complete shy of the 20, and then working his way out over the 20 to about the 22-yard line. And I believe it was Grant Barr, it was.
Nice little sight read there. Takes a short little out route and picks up about 10 or 12 with that.
Grant Barr, he doesn't have any official offers yet, but he's certainly a D1 player.
And we've had Mike talk, just hear Mike talk about Grant that, he's going to go D1 someplace. That's a D1 talent at wide out there.
6-foot senior. Had a great year last year with 42 receptions. Elder fakes the handoff, and Elder just carrying a tackler out of bounds.
That looked wrong there or something.
I think they missed the exchange on the handoff, and so Blake just said, I'm covering this thing up. Actually, it was Grant Barr. That was Grant Barr again. We saw that earlier in the ball game where Barr just took the direct snap, and that's exactly what happened there. Ball out to the 21-yard line. That'll make it 2nd down and 10. Ball is over on the far side of the field as the Eagles go left to right. As Blake Elder again still having to shield his eyes. The sun hasn't quite dropped behind the press box yet. So as the Eagles look over to their bench, they definitely have to shield the eyes to get the signal. Elder with time, looks, throws, and he underthrew his intended receiver at the 35-yard line. Couldn't get that one into Barr. Barr was open, but that one came in on the skip. That'll make it 3rd and long for Avon.
Give a little shout out. Dan Mariotti, former coach at Berea with me, married to Mary Ryan and the Ryan family, the football family, and Dan tells me that Mike Ryan is assistant AD here at Avon. So we know that the Ryan connection from when Mike Elder was at Perry.
3rd and 10 at the 21-yard line. They set the screen up, and that was dangerous. Ball fell shy of Keontae Smith, and it could have been picked off as Elder floated that one out there. So the Ryan football family. So
Jimmy Ryan, Olmsted
from
Falls.
Olmsted Falls won a state championship.
Mike Ryan, yep.
That Bulldog team was so much fun to cover. Oh, my goodness. See, now I know if a guy above me in the organization, Mike Gansey, is listening or watching right now.
Olmsted Falls guy, yep.
Oh, man. He was so much fun to watch as a Bulldog basketball player. As the kick is hauled in at the 47-yard line. Fair catch called for.
And Mike's daughters are volleyball players with my wife. They played on my wife's team this last year.
I heard about this. See? You think you could escape. Timothy, somebody's always watching and listening. Ignatius will have it 1st down and 10 as the Eagles have a 7-0 lead. 9:52 to go, first half of play. The only score in the ball game, Keontae Smith with a 1-yard touchdown run for Avon. Came in the waning seconds of the first quarter. Ignatius with good field position here, starting this one at their own 46-yard line. Daniel Chalut, 6'5" senior quarterback. And actually, they've made a switch at quarterback. There's a pitch to the left, looking for room. Colwell, that time he's got a crease, crosses the midfield stripe and dropped at the Avon 46-yard line. So the quarterback switch for St. Ignatius as Owen O'Brien.
Almost a jump again. It looked like Shane O'Leary almost got a little early start there, but getting ahead of the sticks on 1st down, that's going to be the recipe for the Wildcats.
So it's 2nd down and 2 at the 46-yard line. Quick throw to the left side, complete in front of the Avon bench, down inside the 40 and popped out of bounds into that Eagle bench close to the 35-yard line is Luke Sims, 6-foot senior. So
Nice
the Ignatius Wildcats are now on the move. First down and 10
series for them.
So Ignatius looking for their first points of the ball game and of the season. With this being the lid lifter here in 2025. First down and 10 at the Avon 36-yard line. Low snap, quick throw, complete to the 31-yard line, and working his way inside the 25 to the 24 is Shane O'Leary, the tight end. Found a gap in that Avon defense.
And that Avon secondary playing a little bit soft right now. We don't see that too often from them. I got to believe that with the ball on the 23, we're going to see those corners start to squeeze a little bit more right now.
So again, with a new quarterback in for Ignatius, they're putting a drive together. They have it first down and 10 at the Avon 24-yard line. Under 9 minutes to go here in the first half of play. Handoff Colwell, and he has absolutely nowhere to go. He got swarmed by a whole host of black and gold.
They tried a little misdirection there, bring the counter back to the weak side, and Avon wasn't having any of it.
Max out. Nolan Robke was in on the stop for the Eagles. That'll make it 2nd down and 12, loss of 2. Boy, Colwell has had one tough night running that football. 2nd down with Ignatius at the Eagle 26-yard line. Ball just about in the middle of the field. 3 receivers to the right. And now the throw comes over the middle to O'Leary. Upended at the 22-yard line. Nice one-on-one tackle for Avon right there.
They get the big tight end on a drag route. They let the linebackers drop, and they kind of let a little slow drag. And that time, that play took a little time to develop, and that time they had a little time to throw, which has not been the case most of the night for the Ignatius quarterbacks.
That'll make it 3rd down and 8 at the 22-yard line. Dylan Luther with a nice stop right there for Avon. Here's Donovan looking, throwing to the corner of the end zone, and is it caught?
Touchdown.
Yes!
Yep.
An outstanding catch for the touchdown, as going up and hauling that one in was Haddad, and Ignatius is on the board. It's a 7-6 ball game with 7:30 to go here in the first half of play.
That was a jump ball Donovan threw into the corner there, and Haddad just went up and took it away from the 2 Avon defenders.
Boy, Haddad just climbed the ladder. And you got that basketball reference in the jump ball. But you're right. I mean, it was a jump ball, and Haddad was able to outreach everybody else. So Ignatius will now look to tie this football game as they're on the board. The extra point is up, and it is good. 7-7 with 7:30 to go here in the first half of play. Avon and Ignatius are tied. We'll take a quick timeout on the WEOL mobile app, the Chronicle Telegram's YouTube channel, Tom online
at WEOL.com.
At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford this month, you choose. Right now, get the Escape, Mach-E, Mustang, or Bronco Sport for only $399 a month with 0 down, or the Bronco, Explorer, or F-150 for just $499 a month. At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
Hi, Tim Elkhorn, Cavs radio voice. Recently, we had some trees removed. So again, singing the praises of EcoTree Services. In a few hours, EcoTree had removed the unsightly trees, cleaned the debris, and opened the area for a new fence. I can't say enough good things about the people at EcoTree. I've used them several times, always thrilled with their work. If you have trees that require pruning or need to be removed, contact EcoTree, a local business that deserves your business. They've earned mine. Go to ecotreeservices.com.
Got a tie football game. 7:30 to go, second quarter of play. Haddad hauls in a 22-yard touchdown pass for St. Ignatius. St. Ignatius 7, Avon 7. As now, finally, the sun has dipped behind the press box, and the field is completely in the shade. Of course, the days are getting shorter. Of course, high school football indicates that, but heard the other night, 2.5 minutes per day. Wow. Tom, we're losing almost 15 minutes a week.
Ouch. Less time in the garden
I know
for
Betsy
me.
Kling, but I can add that up.
Less time in the garden for me.
But we got a good football game unfolding. Avon 7, Ignatius 7.
And that drive really set off with Ignatius taking advantage of some good field position at that time. They keep Avon pinned. They get good field position. Nice drive. Tie the game up.
So let's see if Avon can respond as the Eagles look to climb back on top. They're in a good tussle tonight with the Wildcats from St. Ignatius. Boy, you talk about two names that just resonate as far as high school football is concerned. Short kick to the far side, room down the left sideline, tripped up at the 40-yard line. What an outstanding return for Avon.
Is that Jordan Carter? Is that the number I got off of that?
Yes, it was.
Boy, and there was nobody outside. Nobody had contained for St. Ignatius, and Carter just took the ball and went straight up the sideline. Nice job by him.
So the Eagles will have good field position to start this drive as they are at their own 42-yard line in a 7-7 ball game. Again, coming up at the half, the EcoTree Services halftime show. A couple of cool interviews as we track down a couple of Avon football alums. We'll tell you about that in a minute. Here's the handoff, and that's Wendell out to the 50, crosses the 50, and dropped at the Ignatius 49-yard line. That's a nice gain of about 9.
Cam was waiting for somebody to come up and hit him. He's used to running that ball between the tackles, and he's not used to having all that green outside there.
But Avon on the Ignatius side of the 50 as we drop below 7 minutes to go here in the first half of play. 7-7 ball game. Ball now at the right hash mark as Avon's going left to right. Elder hands off, and not a lot of room that time for Wendell as he tried to come up the middle, and it just wasn't there. He stopped shy of the first down. That'll make it 3rd down and 1. So after a nice gain on the first down carry, nothing there on 2nd and short. Sets up 3rd and short for Avon. 6.5 to go. But we're going to talk at the half with Carter Rudy. Boy, he was an outstanding player for Avon, a captain. And we talked about the long line of Avon quarterbacks. How about Mr. Sopko, Jake Sopko? We'll hear from Jake Sopko at the intermission. Elder, play action on 3rd and 1. Here comes Tahiti, eludes the rush. Elder is hit, driven down inside the 48, but that should be enough for the first down. Boy, Elder faced some heat as Avon on 3rd and short tried to cross up that Ignatius defense.
That was a
and
deep.
Elder basically had to scramble
That was a
and
deep
get a
drop.
half yard.
Yeah, deep drop. As soon as he turned around, he couldn't plant his feet, so he did the right thing and he took off.
I'm not sure if they want to measure for this. I don't see why. It looks like
why-
the yard marker
yeah,
is
I'm not-
right on the 48. And looks like that ball will be put down inside the 48.
They quickly signaled first down on it. Now,
well, unless
haven't
they're
moved the
saying the
sticks.
knee went down. Oh, now they're marching off a penalty.
Holding.
There we go. We got a holding call against Avon. Well, I wondered why they were holding up the placement of the football. Got a holding call against the Eagles. Boy, that's a big one. Instead of a first down, Avon now back at their own 40-yard line, facing 3rd down and 11. 7-7 ball game. Each team with a touchdown. Eagles with one in the first. And Ignatius answered with a score here in the second. 5:55 to go in the first half. Great to have you with us on this Thursday night. And now Avon will take time. They want to chat about this play call. So with 5:50 to go first half and a 7-7 ball game, we'll take a timeout on the WEOL mobile app, on the Chronicle Telegram's YouTube page. Look us up there. Or, Tom, we can go to the WEOL website.
at WEOL.com.
High school football in Lorain County is all. Tonight's game is brought to you by Stewart's Appliance. Family owned, locally trusted, and proud to support Lorain County. Whether it's a new fridge, washer, or stove, Stewart's is here for you. Stewart's Appliance, serving families, supporting community.
Just one. So Avon facing a big third down and 11 play here, as the Eagles, after the holding penalty negated a first down, are now back at their own 41-yard line. They had a chance to chat it over. Ball at the right hash mark. Avon will put 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Elder in that pistol formation. Surveys the defense, gets the snap. Elder looking far sideline, but there was contact in front of the Avon bench. And that'll be a pass interference call, as Elder was looking for Finn Jordanic in front of the Avon bench. And he got all tangled up with Jay-Sean Thomas, the safety for Ignatius, and that'll be a pass interference call on Jay-Sean Thomas. Again, high school football, that's a 15-yard penalty, but it will be a first down for Avon. So they pick it up on the penalty against Ignatius.
Big conversion for the Eagles there.
So first down and 10 for Avon. Drive stays alive. 5:46 to go first half. Avon and Ignatius tied at 7 here in Avon. Elder gets the snap. Quick hitter to the left. Completes that one to Jordanic. He's got room. A bit of a crease inside the 35 before he's dropped at the Ignatius 32-yard line. Enough to move the chains. First down and 10 for the Eagles.
That's that nice little slip screen to the outside. The linemen do a great job of coming out and kicking out on that. Does a nice job of cutting that back inside. Big play for the Eagles on first down.
First down and 10, 5.5 minutes to go here in quarter number 2. Avon going left to right as that wildly enthusiastic student section in the end zone to our right gets all revved up. Handoff right side to the 30, to the 25, and getting down to about the 23-yard line. Another fresh back in there.
Michael Colburn.
For the Eagles, yep. Colburn. Well, he's got that cannonball look to him. Short, stout guy. But a nice run for 9 makes it second down and 1 at the 23-yard line. Avon chewing up some clock on this drive. Ball still at the right hash mark. Elder looking under a rush. Now Blake's going to take off. Got to the 22 and got double teamed. But again, Blake Elder, I think, got just enough to move the sticks. Well, let's see where they spot that football.
Yeah, I don't think the officials
Tom?
are. No,
Yeah.
They're marking him a little bit short there.
Well, it wouldn't be high school football on WEOL.com if Tim Alcorn didn't question an official's call. That's a horrible spot. I just said the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Exactly.
So a big third down here for Avon, although certainly 4-down territory. We saw earlier on Avon's scoring drive when they went for it at the 30. Well, here they're at the 23. 3rd and 1 at the 23-yard line, and now Mike Elder says, I want another timeout.
Well, Avon having a little bit of a hard time getting set, and so Mike didn't want any confusion on that one, took the timeout.
We're going to keep it right here, 3:59 to go first half in a 7-7 ball game, but Avon on the move looking to break that 7-7 tie. But, Tom, I want to go back to what you talked about, a little confusion. You can be a great football program. You can be the defending state champs. Week 1 is still week 1. There's some wrinkles to iron out.
There's a whole lot of kinks to work out. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And we saw that with Avon right there. Again, you think of the Eagles as a well-oiled machine, and believe me, come November and hopefully into December again for Avon, they'll be operating on all cylinders. But week 1, there's no matter how well you scrimmage, no matter how well you practice, man, when those lights come on and these stands are absolutely
you put 5,000 people in here. Yeah, it's a whole different story then about alignment and movement and what am I hearing. And
well, of course, you're a former head football coach. Was week 1 always the most nerve-wracking for you?
Yes, because you again, for what you just said, you can do a lot of things. And they even scrimmage. You know, the pros they scrimmage, but you don't see the same thing in scrimmages sometimes that you see in a live game. Some kids really, really step up, and some kids have a hard time underneath the lights.
Yeah, you got to get used to it. So here we go off the timeout. 3rd and 1 for Avon at the 23. Elder rolling to the right. He's going to lob it right side. Catch is made, but not in bounds. Well, that was actually a nice grab over on the far side by Wendell.
I thought he was throwing it away at first.
I did too.
Cam Wendell ran underneath that, went out of bounds.
4th and 1 at the 23-yard line. Now Wendell is in the ball game, and Tom, you mentioned earlier, he's been the short yardage specialist for Avon. So let's see if they just try to slam it in here with Cam Wendell, the senior. As now Elder comes up under center on 4th and 1 at the 23. 3:54 to go in the half. Turns, hands off. Wendell got the first down as he's upended at the 20-yard line. Didn't get much, but he didn't need much to move the chains.
They do a nice job. They flop the tight end. They put him in an H-back that time, and they bring him over, and it's just a block down, and the tight end kicks out, and Wendell just follows him up there.
7-7 game with 3:40 to go first half. Avon converts on a 4th and short. They have it. 1st and 10 at the Ignatius 20-yard line. Ball is at the right hash mark, or should I say closer to the right hash mark, as Elder gets the snap. Here comes the rush. Rolling right, throws, and he completes it inside the 15 at about the 13-yard line to Grant Barr.
Blake's doing a nice job of stepping up in the pocket because he's getting some initial pressure, but he's also doing a nice job of keeping his eyes downfield. That time he stayed on Barr and picks up about 8 on that one, 7 or 8 on that one.
2nd and 3 at the 13-yard line. 3 minutes to go, first half of play. Blake Elder now doesn't have to shield his eyes as he looks over to the bench. all sorts of time on the play clock. Still 11 seconds to get the play off. Elder, inside handoff. Wendell pushing his way to about the 11-yard line. We'll set up 3rd and 1. Well, I love the way that Avon's chewing clock right here. Although part of that is the Ignatius defense. They've played tough. It's just that Avon has been able to convert on a couple of short yardage situations. And here we go again, short yardage. 3rd and 1 at the 11. 2:15 to go here in quarter number 2. Avon still with 1 timeout at their disposal. Elder all by himself in that pistol in a 5-receiver set. Gets the snap. Now he's going to run. He's to the 10 and tripped up as he tumbles forward to the 6-yard line. 1st and goal for the Eagles.
And that was one of those where I think he took a quick look and his first read wasn't there. He saw the seam and he was going to run that all the way. I think that was a one read look for Blake that time with knowing that the defense is going to start to press a little man coverage here, and he might have an angle there to run inside.
And Tom, you mentioned earlier in our broadcast tonight that Blake Elder didn't see a lot of action last year as a junior, but as a sophomore, he saw plenty of action in postseason
regional
football.
finals game.
Wow. 1st and goal, Avon. They're at the Ignatius 6 in a 7-7 game. Wendell gets the handoff. He's got a crack, and he falls forward close to the 1-yard line. Ooh, he almost pushed it across.
It looked like he was going to walk in there. And
ball is in between the 2 and the 1. As Ignatius now takes time with 1:15 to go here in the first half of play. Again, we'll keep it right here. 7-7 ball game, Avon and St. Ignatius. What a way to open up the 2025 high school football season. It has turned into now a beautiful cloudless night here in Avon. As you look across to the Ignatius side, pretty packed here on the Avon side. I'm not sure how many more people you could get in here. Got drones flying overhead. You know, Tom, I posted earlier on social media earlier this week. I can't believe this when I think about it. 40 years ago, I called my first high school football game on the radio. If you had said to me, that 22-year-old that night, you know, Tim, 40 years from now, you're going to be calling a game and these little things are going to be flying over the. I'd be like, yeah, right.
I was going to ask you whose picture you posted, though. That wasn't you, was it?
Oh, you saw that post? Yeah, well, that was a 22-year-old Tim Elcord. That was a long time ago. But you know what? I love it just as much tonight as I did 40 years ago. Southview at Clearview. Southview.
Oh, there you go.
John Bravowski at the helm, and, of course, Clearview under the great
Tom Hoke.
Late Tom Hoke. 2nd and goal for Avon at the 1-yard line. Elder now under center. Blake turns, hands off. Wendell breaks a tackle and stumbles into the end zone for the touchdown. And the Eagles are back on top. They lead it 13-7. A nice, time-consuming touchdown drive as Avon goes up by 6 with 1:11 to go here in the first half of play.
That's a drive that Mike Elder's looking for right there. Good ball control, mixing the run and pass real well on that drive. Blake, a couple nice runs on his own.
So Keontae Smith with a touchdown run earlier in the game, and now Wendell with a touchdown run from 1 yard out. The extra point attempt is up and good. Got a 14-7 game as Avon leads it with just over a minute to go here in the second quarter of play. Good teams, great teams, elite programs always find ways to respond.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we're going to see here in the last minute 11 what Ignatius is going to do. Donovan moved him well in the last series with the change at quarterback.
Wendell last year for Avon had 6 touchdowns. As Tom mentioned, that short yardage guy. And boy, when the going got tough and the yards were at a premium, it was Wendell that was in that backfield.
And he's one of those guys that he knows how to find a seam and he knows how to take a hit and keeping his feet moving.
So 1:11 to go here in the first half of play. Again, at the half, our EcoTree Services halftime show. And for you Avon Eagle fans, I think you'll enjoy as we talk to a couple of former great Eagles, but once an Eagle, always an Eagle, as Jake Sopko, great quarterback, and Carter Rudy, running back, linebacker. You know, I talked to Carter earlier today. I said, Carter, I don't remember every game you played, but you were a running back linebacker. He's like, wow, Mr. Alcorn. I said, well, first of all, you don't call me Mr.
Alcorn. There you go.
But, yeah, it's funny how those names and positions, they just get stuck in your head. End-over-end kick, fielded about the 2-yard line. Out to the 15 and to the 20 and upended at the 20-yard line. On the return for St. Ignatius was Billy Cole. So Ignatius has one timeout, 80 yards to go. Avon up 14-7. Avon led at the end of 7-0. And now each team with a touchdown here in the second quarter of play. 14-7. We thought this would be a tough, hard-fought, contested football game. And, Tom, that's exactly what we've seen.
Very physical up front by both teams. Each team with one timeout. I'm not sure that we'll see Ignatius get too flashy here.
So Dane Donovan, who took over the QB spot on the last drive and led Ignatius to a touchdown, will set the offense at the 19-yard line. Donovan fakes the handoff, keeps it himself, and slides down on the right side at about the 23-yard line. Short gain of 4.
And while Chaluba's the starter tonight, Donovan played in all 11 games last year. Chaluba, 5 games last year. They mixed it up a little bit. They were searching for the quarterback, but Donovan, a lot of time at the quarterback position.
Well, Chalub, as you said, Tom, saw action last year, but then he was lost for the year after he got injured against Akron-Hoban. So that allowed Donovan to gain that experience. There's a handoff to Colwell, and he's upended at the 25-yard line. Not much there. See if Avon elects to use that last timeout, although if they do, you would think Ignatius would just run it one more time anyway. And I think both coaches are going to say, let's go to the locker room. Yep, we're down to 10, 9, 8 seconds to go in the first half, so that'll do it as Ignatius will elect not to run a play. So we'll head to the intermission with Avon leading St. Ignatius 14-7 here at the Avon Football Complex. Good game unfolding between the Eagles and the Wildcats. We'll take a timeout, and when we come back, the EcoTree Services halftime show. That comes your way after this on the WEOL mobile app, on the Chronicle Telegram's YouTube page. Tom, online.
WEOL.com.
Hi, Tim Alcorn, Cavs radio voice. Recently, we had some trees removed. So again, singing the praises of EcoTree Services. In a few hours, EcoTree had removed the unsightly trees, cleaned the debris, and opened the area for a new fence. I can't say enough good things about the people at EcoTree. I've used them several times, always thrilled with their work. If you have trees that require pruning or need to be removed, contact EcoTree, a local business that deserves your business. They've earned mine. Go to ecotreeservices.com.
At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford this month, you choose. Right now, get the Escape, Mach-E, Mustang, or Bronco Sport for only $399 a month with 0 down. Or the Bronco, Explorer, or F-150 for just $499 a month. At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
High school football in Lorain County is all about tradition, pride, and community, and that's what Stewart's Appliance is built on. For generations, Stewart's has been the family-owned appliance store you can count on for quality products and personal service. From refrigerators to washers, ovens to dishwashers, Stewart's has what you need to keep your home running. Proud to support Lorain County and proud to support high school sports. Stewart's Appliance, where community comes first.
At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford this month, you choose. Right now, get the Escape, Mach-E, Mustang, or Bronco Sport for only $399 a month with 0 down. Or the Bronco, Explorer, or F-150 for just $499 a month. At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
Neighbor.
Welcome back to Avon and the EcoTree Services halftime show, brought to you by EcoTree Services, your complete Tree Care Company, and they do an awesome job. I've been doing testimonials for EcoTree Service. More often than not, it's a great defense that will carry you into a deep playoff run, and Avon again, and Ignatius, to their credit, showing great defense tonight.
Absolutely. And it's one of those things that have been overshadowed here at Avon because for so long it was, they were putting 45, 50 points on the board, and nobody's talking about the defense. But I think this last 5 or 6 years, their defense has been stifling, just stifling. They were always good. They ran and they got to the ball, but they're doing some different things there. I think they're more aggressive now than they were in maybe some earlier years, and just doing a really, really great job. Hats off to the Ignatius front. I think they're doing a good job of slowing that running game down. I'm looking to see if we got hands on hips, though. They're not rotating a lot of players on that Ignatius defense, and if Mike Elder will do nothing, he will wear you down. He'll keep coming at you. So,
boy, great points from Tom Evans here in the press box as the Ignatius band now on the field. 14-7, Avon leading St. Ignatius. This is our EcoTree Services halftime show brought to you by EcoTree Services. Well, we alluded to the fact several times in the first half and throughout our pregame that this is an Avon team that finally was able to get to the peak of the mountain last year as they ended up winning the Division II state championship, capping off a perfect season. And for Mike Elder and his staff, just a crowning achievement. But this is a program that, going back throughout Mike's 19 years as the head coach, has just been one of the elite football programs, not only in Northeast Ohio, but throughout the state. They've had so many great players perform in that gold and purple for Avon. And so we thought it would be fun to check in with a couple of those former greats for the Avon Eagles, and I did so earlier today. And we'll start things off with Carter Rudy. And, of course, his senior year was the 2015 campaign. But, boy, it was great to connect with Carter Rudy, and here's our conversation from earlier today.
Welcome back to Avon. We're at the half of the 2025 season opener. The Avon Eagles, the defending state champions in Division II, hosting the Wildcats from St. Ignatius High School. Great to have you with us on the WEOL mobile app and WEOL.com. And we're thrilled to be joined here at the half by one of the great names in Avon football history. He was a captain on the 2015 squad. Carter Rudy now joins us to talk a little bit about the legacy and the history of this Avon football program. Carter, great to have you with us. We appreciate you spending some time.
Tim, thank you for having me. I'm honored to be selected to talk about this.
Well, it was 10 years ago that you played on this very gridiron here at Avon, as I mentioned, a captain on the 2015 team. But I know every former Avon football player still follows the program, is engaged with the program. So I'm sure what fans want to hear first and foremost. When those final seconds ticked off the clock in that state championship game back in December, what was going through your mind and what were the emotions that you were feeling?
I was thrilled. I was actually there in person, so it was perfect for me to see Coach Elder get his first one in person. I think I can speak for all of us. It was such an exciting moment, an emotional moment for the city. It's been a long time coming, and we're so happy for the team to get one. And I think it's just a testament to how great this program has been the past couple of years to finally kick the door down and to get one, bring it back home.
Yeah, Carter, you alluded to the fact that, man, this team has just knocked on the door so many times, so many close calls. And talk about the tradition of Avon football. And even though it was the 2024 version of the Eagles that won the championship, how that history, how that tradition plays into itself year after year.
Yeah, obviously, if you're from Northeast Ohio, you know about the tradition of Avon football. And it goes back to, me being a kid and growing up and watching those guys on Friday nights doing their thing. You wanted to be just like them. And you grow up in the city with such a strong culture and a love for football that you get to the middle school level, you're starting to, learn the playbook. You're starting to build your culture as a team, and you get to high school and you're ready for it. They build such a foundation from such a young age that you want to be a part of this when you get to high school. It was such a blessing back then in those 4 years playing at Avon with some of my buddies, and we still talk about it today. We have a group chat that we're still talking about Avon football to this day. Everybody today is talking about how excited we are the season's back, and it's just a friendships you'll have forever as well that come along with it.
And Carter, one of the things that Mike Elder always talks about is the fact that this is a community program. It's not just the guys that are playing on the field. It's everybody that has bought into Avon football. Talk about that, the community support as you remember it and as it still takes place today.
Oh, it's incredible. Everybody in the city is showing up on Friday nights to see the team play. You get so much support from everybody throughout the week. Good luck this week. We'll be there supporting you. And it's carried on from, as long as I can remember as a kid. Like I said, when I was a young kid, my dad did stats for Coach Elder in his first year. And I remember as a kid wanting to experience what those guys got to experience with the whole city behind them. And he's built such a culture in these past, how long he's been here of, it's not just about the team, it's about the city too.
19 years. That's how long Mike Elder has been the head football coach at Avon, and it is just a remarkable record and tenure that he has built leading the Eagle program. Carter, share with our listeners and with Eagle fans what it's like to play for Mike Elder, what it's like to play for a legendary coach, not only in Lorain County and Northeast Ohio, but now across the state of Ohio.
He's the absolute best. I cannot speak enough about how great of a coach he is and how great of a person he is. He really cared about you as an individual off the field just as much as he cared about you as a football player on the field. We were there for those 6 a.m. lifts. You start, you're a freshman, you're lifting at 6 o'clock in the morning. Those guys are pushing you to be the best. He's making sure you're the best version of yourself every day, not just on the field, but off the field too, when it comes to school, with your family, anything. He instilled a lot of values I have in myself now, back when I was playing, just because he was such an impactful guy in so many ways off the field, just as he was on the field. It was an honor to play for him. It really was.
Carter, there was a feature in today's Chronicle Telegram about how Coach Elder basically turns everything over to his seniors in any given season. And I mentioned at the beginning of our conversation, you were a senior captain in 2015. So talk about that responsibility that Coach Elder is willing to give to those leaders, to those 12th graders.
Yeah. And like you said, he turns it over to the seniors, but I think the reason he turns it over to them is because of the program he's built. You're ready by the time you're a senior to take lead in practice. He knows when, adversity hits, he can turn to those guys because of what they've instilled as a culture. You're ready by the time you're a senior to, be the guy that steps up and turn it around for this team if things are going south. Adversity hits, you're ready for it. And I think that speaks to just how well not only him, but that whole coaching staff gets you ready for games, gets you ready for practice. You know, every practice matters, and the intensity in practice was incredible.
Tim,
I was
Phil
lucky enough to play in college, but
I think so.
I was ready to play in college because of the culture
from my mom's house. He grew
they
up
built in high school. My high school was
team.
ran like a college team.
Okay.
It was incredible.
He commented
That's amazing.
on something
Carter,
asked
what's
him,
amazing is that I remember
he's having
calling your
communications
games, and I
and stuff,
remember
and
you being part of terrific Avon football seasons. And it's been 10 years already. The time flies, doesn't it?
It flies. It flies. It's crazy. It's been 10 years.
Well, Carter, I appreciate you spending the time again. Avon football has become such a legacy, such a tradition in Lorain County, and it's great to talk with you and have you share your thoughts and your memories with the listeners on WEOL.com. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Tim. I really appreciate you having me. It's been awesome.
And it was great to catch up with Carter Rudy, one of the greats here at Avon. Boy, when you're a captain on the Avon Eagle football team, you're doing some pretty special things. So we thank Carter for taking some time to talk to us. We've got one more former Eagle to hear from. Here's a name. Yes, Jake Sopko, former Eagle quarterback. We'll hear from Jake after this on the EcoTree Services halftime report. 14-7, Avon leading Ignatius on the WEOL mobile app. Of course, you can watch things now on the Chronicle Telegram's YouTube channel and Tom Online.
At WEOL.com.
Hi, Tim Elkhorn, Cavs radio voice. Recently, we had some trees removed. So again, singing the praises of EcoTree Services. In a few hours, EcoTree had removed the unsightly trees, cleaned the debris, and opened the area for a new fence. I can't say enough good things about the people at EcoTree. I've used them several times, always thrilled with their work. If you have trees that require pruning or need to be removed, contact EcoTree, a local business that deserves your business. They've earned mine. Go to ecotreeservices.com.
High school football in Lorain County is all about tradition, pride, and community, and that's what Stewart's Appliance is built on. For generations, Stewart's has been the family-owned appliance store you can count on for quality products and personal service. From refrigerators to washers, ovens to dishwashers, Stewart's has what you need to keep your home running. Proud to support Lorain County and proud to support high school sports. Stewart's Appliance, where community comes first.
At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford this month, you choose. Right now, get the Escape, Mach-E, Mustang, or Bronco Sport for only $399 a month with 0 down. Or the Bronco, Explorer, or F-150 for just $499 a month. At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
14-7, Avon leading St. Ignatius at the half here at Avon. Terrific ball game unfolding before a huge crowd here in Avon, Ohio, the 2025 season opener for both of these teams. Well, you just heard from Carter Rudy, one of the great players in Avon football history, and of course, one of the things that Avon has had since Mike Elder took the helm is great quarterbacks. It just seems like year after year there's an outstanding guy taking that snap, and when you go back in time, one of the best here at Avon was Jake Sopko. Of course, Jake Sopko, not only a great QB here for the Eagles, but went on to the University of Cincinnati, and now he's living in the Sunshine State. He's down in Florida. Had a chance to talk to Jake earlier today, and we hope you enjoy our conversation.
Welcome back. It's halftime at Avon as the Eagles start the 2025 campaign, hosting the Wildcats from St. Ignatius High School, two perennial state powers as far as the state of Ohio and high school football is concerned. And when we're talking about the legacy and the greatness of Avon football, not only the 2024 state championship, but going back so many years and just so many great players. And one of those great players now joins us here at the half. Just an outstanding quarterback for the Eagles back in the mid-2010s decade. A class of 2016, which meant his senior year on the Gridiron was 2015. Jake Sopko, quarterback for Avon, now joins us. Jake, before we dig into Avon football, we're talking to you where it's nice and warm and sunny. Down in Florida, you reside in Florida now.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's It's a beautiful, beautiful day out here in Tampa, Florida. The weather's great. It's a little hot though. I'd rather be up in Avon tonight, I think. But no, it's great being down here.
Well, before we talk about the Avon 2024 state championship and obviously moving forward starting tonight in 2025 with St. Ignatius, you mentioned being back in Avon, and take us through some of the great memories and recollections you have of being under those lights at Avon, and just what an experience that was for you that I'm sure you still carry with you to this day.
100%. Yeah. I think growing up in a city, in a community like Avon had such a huge impact on me and the person that I am today. Living down here in Tampa, this is where I end up putting my roots. I want to make sure that I can find something as close as I can to Avon down here and raise my family in a community like that, because that's how much to me, really all my closest friends are, people that I grew up with. Those are the guys that I played sports with, and specifically football played a huge role in, my upbringing, who I am today. Growing up in Avon, you're dreaming of being the starting quarterback and being under those lights and playing in that community. I was running around in my front yard pretending I was Ryan O'Rourke and Justin O'Rourke, the guys who were the starting quarterbacks for Avon at that time when I was little. So it was definitely a dream, and it was a really cool experience just to play for a community where it meant so much, and then play in a great program and under a great leader like Coach Elder. So just was a 10 out of 10 great experience.
Well, you alluded to Coach Elder. So now in his 19th year, that's simply remarkable in the program that he's built. What makes Coach Elder a great, as you said, 10 out of 10, the whole experience, but what puts Mike in that elite category as a high school football coach?
Yeah, that's a great question. Obviously the X's and O's, he does a great job with that. He clearly knows ball. But I think what he really does well is one, he surrounds himself with great people and great coaches. A lot of that coaching staff has been there for forever, and I think it's hard for them to leave. And they do a really good job. But I think what he's done so well is just really investing in the community and at a young age. I know that he's very involved in the youth football program, and kind of he's there from the beginning for these kids. And that's huge. And then he really focuses on developing young men. I remember he would always tell us, he would talk about football, obviously, but he said, I want to develop great leaders. I want you to be a great brother, a great son, eventually a great husband, a great father. So it's more than just football. And I think, I can't speak for everybody or every program, but I think that goes a long way, and it's different. I played with a lot of guys in college who had a very different experience than I did in high school. And I think a lot of that comes from the top, from Coach Elder, kind of building that culture.
Jake, the last time you played as an Avon Eagle was already 10 years ago. That doesn't seem possible. But going back to December of 2024, about 8 months ago, what was it like as a former Avon Eagle, but a guy who wore that uniform, to see that team capture a state title?
Yeah, well, 10 years ago, you brought that up. It's crazy to think about that. But no, it was great, because that was what we dreamed of growing up, was, to be the team that brought the state title to Avon. I remember, I think I was in 8th grade when they went to the first championship for the first time, and we lost. And, we were 8th graders. We weren't even on the team, but we were crushed, and we wanted to be the ones to bring a state championship. Unfortunately, we didn't do that. But they've always been so close, and you knew eventually that they were going to get over the hump. You just didn't know when. So I was extremely happy for them. I mean, I'd still follow along. I check the box scores on Twitter. If I'm home, I try to catch a game. And I was here in Tampa, Florida, watching on TV. I bought in and watched the whole game. I texted Coach Elder, Coach Powell before and after the game. So it meant a lot. And I was just really, really happy for, the community, but really the coaching staff, because I know how bad they've wanted it, how hard they've worked, and they definitely definitely were deserving of winning a state title. So it definitely felt a great sense of accomplishment, and just super happy for the coaching staff, but everybody that's involved, the entire community.
Jake, of course, after Avon, you went on to play at the University of Cincinnati, and then you coached for a couple of years down there. But the foundation for you, I would think, was laid at Avon High School, that experience. What did that teach you?
Yeah, no, 100%. I think, like I mentioned earlier, I had a very different experience in high school than a lot of the guys that I played with. And I really feel like that set me up. My college career didn't necessarily go the way I wanted to on the field, but by no means was it not because I wasn't prepared. I feel like the program that I came from in high school very much set me up to be prepared and be successful at the college level. Things changed a little bit when Coach Fickle came in, and he got the program right at Cincinnati. But when I first got to UC, I remember feeling like my high school program was harder and ran more strict than the college program at that high Division I level. So I was very shocking to me. But I just feel like, you really grew up at Avon, obviously grew up a lot more in college and thereafter. But felt like it definitely, just the way that it's run, the culture, the getting up at 6 a.m. and lifting, and the workouts after practice, after school as well. Definitely sets guys up for success if they are to go play after high school.
Boy, great stuff. Jake, we really appreciate the time. Boy, it seems like last night I was calling your games at this very stadium in Avon, but great to reconnect and talk to one of the great QBs in Avon history, and congratulations on your success in life. But we appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, Tim. Thank you very much for giving me a call, and go Eagles.
Boy, great chat with Jake Sopko, great quarterback for the Avon Eagles, and now doing well down in Florida. Jake said he would be listening for that interview, Tom Evans, so Coach Elder taught him well.
There you go.
Listen. You got to listen. So here we go, 14-7, and I'm sure it was a group of Eagles that were listening to Coach Elder at the half, as Avon and St. Ignatius have come back to the field with Avon leading 14-7. Speaking of listening to Coach Elder, what was the message you think he may have delivered?
Well, we liked the last drive of the first half for the Eagles. Defensively, had to shore some things up. I think they're going to make some adjustments to Donovan here. I think he's a little bit more composed in backfield, so they're preparing for him in the second half. But it's going to be a little bit more of the same. We need to be dominant up front, cut the mental mistakes, make sure that we clean that stuff up, got that out of our system, and let's just go play Avon Eagle football. And again, I like the balance. I think they're starting to wear on the front seven of Ignatius a little bit, and I think we're going to see a little bit more of that here.
And how about from the Eagles, the Wildcats side of the coin?
The Wildcats, they're telling the defense, you've kept us in the game so far. That front seven has played really, really well. They've put some pressure on Blake Elder. They've had forced him to make some decisions. Offensively, again, with Donovan, they took some soft coverage, took advantage of that on the drive. I'm not sure that we'll see some of that again from Avon, but there's some things to build on. They got a little bit of a running game going there at the end in that drive. So I think can we build off of that? And it's going to be up to that offensive line. If that offensive line can protect Donovan in the second half, we may have a real close game heading down the stretch. If they can't protect him, I think the Eagles run away with this a little bit.
There we go. So Avon and Ignatius getting ready to start the third quarter of play. Avon leading 14-7 as the skies now darken here in Avon. Nightfall is descending upon us. Ignatius will have it first to open up the third quarter of play, and the Wildcats will be going left to right. They'll be heading towards the scoreboard down to our right. Our EcoTree Services halftime show brought to you by EcoTree Services. Boy, our good friends over at EcoTree have been supporting high school sports for a long time. Your complete tree care company is EcoTree Services. Avon on the kickoff, heading to the wide side of the field, and turning the corner is Colwell. He got to the 30, to the 35, to the 40, and upended at about the 41-yard line. That's a nice return by Owen Colwell, the senior. And Ignatius will start in good position. at about their own 40-yard line.
And we've seen a couple good kick returns by Ignatius, and that really uncharacteristic of that Eagle kickoff team. This has been a team that's played stifling special teams throughout the years, and to give up those kind of return yards, Coach Elder's not happy, I guarantee you.
And Tom, I want to follow up on something that we were talking about in the first half, that being game one, you work out some kinks. I would think even more so on special teams.
Oh, you're finding people. There'll be some major changes between this week and next week on special teams based on what they saw on film out of some kids.
Ignatius has it, first down and 10, and there's a botch snap. As Donovan was in the pistol, the ball came free. Avon saying they've got it. We'll wait for the official indication. We got a massive pile up, and it is indeed the Eagles. They come out of there with it right at the 40-yard line. How about that? On the first play here in the third quarter of play, a botch snap out of the pistol formation for Ignatius, and the Eagles get a big turnover. They'll have it at the Wildcat 40.
Looked like he wasn't ready for the snap when it came that time. It just kind of bounced off there, and fair ball, and Avon comes up with it.
Oh, what a break for the Eagles. 14 seconds into the third quarter of play. Avon now with a first down and 10 at the Ignatius 40-yard line. Avon going right to left, heading towards the parking lot down to our left. Wind is no factor here tonight. That flag is absolutely still, just completely limp down to our left. Here's Elder out of the pistol. Blake under some pressure, and down he goes at the 46-yard line. We saw him elude pressure several times in the first half, but not that time, Tom.
And I wondered if there was a problem with the routes because both receivers were within about 5 yards of each other, and there were three Ignatius defenders there to cover him. So I think maybe somebody ran the wrong route out there.
Loss of 5 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 15 for Avon. Trying to capitalize on a big break to start the third quarter of play. A turnover gives them the ball on the Wildcat side of the 50. Opening minute of quarter number 3 with Avon up 14-7. Ball at the right hash mark. Elder gets the snap, turns, hands off. Keontae Smith had a bit of a crease. But again, the Ignatius defense tonight has been tough against the run as Smith is slammed down at about the 41-yard line, gain of 4, but it'll be 3rd and long for the Eagles.
And this is a big down because I think if the Eagles get down to about the 35, we'll see Coach go for it on 4th down. If they don't, I think Mike will punt it back to him and make him go long field. But this is a big down for them. If they can pick up about 7. If they can pick up a little more than half of this, I think that Mike will go for it on 4th down.
Barr and Jordanic are split wide to the right with 2 receivers to the left. Blake Elder now will send Caden Clapham in motion to the right. Elder, quick flip to the left. The ball was caught, hung onto by Smith, but then he got racked up behind the line of scrimmage all the way back at the 47-yard line. Boy, Keontae instinctively caught that ball. He may have been better off just letting it drop for an incomplete pass.
And that's James Conrad out there for the Wildcats, one of their leading tacklers last year.
So even though Avon got a huge break on the fumble recovery, they weren't able to do anything with it offensively, and now they will punt it back over to St. Ignatius as the kick is angled towards the Avon sideline and caught out of bounds at about the 15. So it'll be a long field for the Wildcats. 14-7, Eagles lead it. Avon with a touchdown in the first quarter of play. Keontae Smith with a 1-yard touchdown run. Each team with a score in the second period. Trey Haddad. Of course, Drew Haddad in the Haddad family, but it was Trey Haddad that caught that touchdown pass from 22 yards out to tie the game at 7 before Wendell scored for Avon to put the Eagles back on top 14-7. So St. Ignatius will have it at their own 15. 9:42 to go here in the third quarter of play. Ignatius and Avon. Boy, 2 names that certainly will make your ears perk up as far as high school football. Donovan looking, throwing. There's contact out at the 35-yard line. No flag as the pass flew incomplete.
And the Ignatius coach is not happy. Lots of arm waving over there. They wanted an interference or a holding call on the wideout on that one.
Luke Sims was the intended receiver. Alex Rivera was in coverage. They definitely got tangled up. And as Tom said, that entire Ignatius sideline was howling for a flag to be called, but no such infraction, and that'll make it 2nd down and 10 at the 15-yard line. Again for St. Ignatius. Donovan now in at quarterback. Out of the pistol. Looks, fires over the middle, and it's picked off. Witherspoon on the return, upended at the 10 as he tumbles forward to the 6-yard line. Jacob Witherspoon showing why he's a Division I North Carolina commit with the pick and the return. And Avon will have it at the Ignatius 5-yard line.
That's one of those picks where it looked like Witherspoon was almost baiting Donovan. Back there, he was sitting kind of back, had his eyes on him, waited, made a great break on that one. That looks like Witherspoon almost set the quarterback up on that interception a little bit.
Well, Jacob Witherspoon had 2 interceptions last year. That's his first here in 2025, but it is huge. The Eagles leading 14-7, now have it at the Ignatius 5-yard line. 9:28 to go here in the 3rd quarter of play. Avon will try to extend this lead. So the offense, which had just come to the bench, now back out on the field. Elder out of that pistol. Hands off, Wendell up the middle, and he'll fall forward to about the 1-yard line. Well, he doesn't need a lot of room.
No, he finds the small seams, too. It looked like they were going to stop him on about the 4, and he almost gets skinny in there to find that gap and picks up another 1.5 yards on it.
So Avon will get a couple of cracks at it in a short goal line situation. 2nd and goal. Ball at the 1 as Blake Elder will now come up under center. Wendell behind him. Long signal count. Elder hands off. Wendell spinning, falling. Touchdown! Wendell caromed off that first hit. Spun to the right. Fell into pay dirt. And the Eagles have themselves a 20-7 lead with 8:47 to go, 3rd quarter. Boy, how about spinning out of that initial contact?
Yeah, really nice job of keeping his feet moving, and 3 Wildcat defenders there, and he's able to spin his way into the end zone for the touchdown.
Cam Wendell with his 2nd touchdown of the night. They've each been from 1 yard out. And now the extra point attempt is up, and it is good. 21-7. Avon leads at 8:47 to go, 3rd quarter. We'll take a timeout on the WEOL mobile app, the Chronicle Telegram's YouTube page, and Tom online
at WEOL.com.
At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford this month, you choose. Right now, get the Escape, Mach-E, Mustang, or Bronco Sport for only $399 a month with 0 down, or the Bronco, Explorer, or F-150 for just $499 a month. At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
High school football in Lorain County is all about tradition, pride, and community, and that's what Stewart's Appliance is built on. For generations, Stewart's has been the family-owned appliance store you can count on for quality products and personal service. From refrigerators to washers, ovens to dishwashers, Stewart's has what you need to keep your home running. Proud to support Lorain County and proud to support high school sports. Stewart's Appliance, where community comes first.
You know, there's this television ad where a certain gentleman says, "I'll make them pay." Boy, you turn the ball over,
yeah,
and Avon will make you pay, Tom. And when you got a short field after the terrific Witherspoon interception, now 21-7 Avon, they made the Wildcats pay.
And that starts to change the complexion of the game here a little bit because the Wildcats can stay in their game plan for now, but if they stay down by 2 scores, they're going to be forced to throw the ball a little bit more, and that plays right into Avon's hands.
Petro with the kickoff for Avon. Here comes Colwell out to the 30, to the 35, and dropped at about the 37-yard line. That was actually Billy Cole, my bad. Billy Cole on the return for Ignatius. So as Tom said, it's now 21-7. First time tonight we've had a 2-score game. Now there's all sorts of time with 8:40 to go here in the third quarter of play. But that pressure starts to build a little bit when you're on the road and you're down 2 scores.
Well, and when you're coming off a 1-10 too, where you're behind a lot last year, and there were no come from behinds last year, and you start saying, oh, here we go again, kind of thing.
And again, you're going up against an Avon defense. We talked about it earlier. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 Division I football players. Donovan bobbles the snap again. The ball's loose, and it's recovered by Avon at the 35-yard line. How about that? Ben Streetcheck, outside linebackers, fell on that football as all of a sudden that ball has become like a greased pig for Ignatius. They just can't hold on to it.
And that one, Donovan just didn't handle it. I mean, it looked like it was right where it needed to be when he did the clap signal. It came right where he wanted it to be. I don't know if he looked away at the last second or not.
And now Avon could really throw a haymaker, leading 21-7 with 8:36 to go here in the third quarter of play. Another short field for the Eagles. It's not quite the 5-yard line, but the 35 of the Wildcats, first down and 10. Here's the handoff. Keontae Smith tries to, or excuse me, that's not Keontae Smith. I believe.
Mr. Calhoun, I think.
It was Calhoun, yes. Not much there. Makes it second
Michael
down.
Colburn, I'm sorry. Michael Colburn.
As Colburn got dropped behind the line of scrimmage. Ball now at the left hash mark, and we've got some flags blowing, and we've also, or excuse me, some whistles blowing and flags flying. It's an illegal procedure call against Avon. See, it's game 1 for us too.
Yeah.
You got to shake off those
working
football
some kinks
cobwebs.
out. Working some kinks out.
Shake off the football cobwebs. So it's now 2nd and 14 for the Eagles after the illegal procedure call. Ball put back at the 39-yard line. Avon looking to add to a 21-7 lead. Elder, inside handoff. That's Colburn. And down to about the 34-yard line. Makes it third down. And about 10 as they got the yardage back.
This is, again, one of those situations where I think if he picks up 4 or 5, we see him go for it on 4th down.
And again, the way the defense has been playing tonight, and the way Ignatius appears to be faltering on the offensive side. So here we go, 3rd and 9 at the 34. Elder with a rush, eludes it, heads left, lofts it downfield, catch is made, touchdown is made. Caden Clapham with the touchdown reception as Blake Elder with his first touchdown throw here in 2025, and the Eagles now lead it by a score of 27-7.
And give Blake Elder his feet some credit for that one too. He scrambled outside. It looked like he was going to run. That Ignatius defense started to collapse on him, and Clapham was wide open.
So just like that, Avon has opened up a 20-point lead, and it will stay 20 points as the extra point attempt is blocked. But a couple of big Ignatius turnovers, and the Eagles have capitalized. 27-7 with 7:03 to go, third quarter. We'll take a timeout on the WEOL mobile app, the Chronicle Telegram's YouTube channel, and Tom online
at WEOL.com.
Hi, Tim Elkhorn, Cavs radio voice. Recently, we had some trees removed. So again, singing the praises of EcoTree Services. In a few hours, EcoTree had removed the unsightly trees, cleaned the debris, and opened the area for a new fence. I can't say enough good things about the people at EcoTree. I've used them several times, always thrilled with their work. If you have trees that require pruning or need to be removed, contact EcoTree, a local business that deserves your business. They've earned mine. Go to ecotreeservices.com.
At At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford this month, you choose. Right now, get the Escape, Mach-E, Mustang, or Bronco Sport for only $399 a month with 0 down, or the Bronco, Explorer, or F-150 for just $499 a month. At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
So Avon capitalizing on Ignatius turnovers, and this time it was Blake Elder hooking up with Clapham on a 34-yard score. Great movement by Elder, and then, Tom, the way he floated that ball in.
Like Clapham run right underneath it.
So Caden Clapham with his first touchdown of the season, 27-7. Avon leads it with 7:03 to go here in the third quarter of play, and now the dynamic of this game has totally changed. There's a driving kickoff down to the goal line. On the return, out over the 25 to the 30 to the 35 and out to about the 38-yard line. On a nice return for Ignatius is once again Billy Cole. And Tom, you talked about Avon's going to look at these special teams plays tonight. Now you've got a blocked extra point. They're giving up big chunks on kickoffs.
I guarantee you there's going to be some personnel changes between this week and next week on the special teams. This is really out of character for the Avon Eagles to give up those kind of chunk yardage returns on kickoffs.
First down and 10 for Ignatius, but boy, now Avon can tee off defensively, leading 27-7 with 6:56 to go here in the third quarter of play. Ignatius going left to right. Dane Donovan. Clapstay, and again he bobbled the snap. Scooped it up, but he scooped it up while his knee was down. Boy, Tom, I'm not sure what's going on with Dane. I'm not sure if he's taking his eye off the ball or if he's trying to pick it up before it actually gets there.
That snap was low. They're 0 for 3 on the last 3 snaps.
Bobby Leskovec is the Ignatius center. And that was a loss of about 5 on that play. Pushes the ball back to the 33-yard line, makes it second down and 15. Boy, the Ignatius offense here in the third quarter of play.
Now they look confused.
Hasn't just shot themselves in the foot. They've blown their own foot off. Here's Donovan looking, throwing. He's got a receiver. And on the catch for St. Ignatius and getting dropped at the Avon 35-yard line was Jake Babinski. Wow. So Ignatius trying to respond after seeing the wheels fall off early here in the third with a big play down to the 35 of Avon. First down and 10 for the Wildcats. We're halfway through the third quarter. Again, a low snap. This time Donovan was able to scoop it up, works to the right side, slides down at about the 31-yard line for a gain of 4. And boy, wholesale substitutions for Avon defensively.
Yeah, getting some fresh bodies in there, and that's not uncharacteristic of them. They'll do that. It looks like a hockey game when they're making a shift change.
That's why I never call hockey. I mean, you talk about tip of the cap to play-by-play guys. How those hockey guys do it is beyond me. Wow. But I digress. 2nd and 7 from the 32. Donovan looks left, throws, and it bounced in at the 30-yard line.
So we've referenced almost every sport we can so far tonight.
There's our hockey.
We're covering them all. We got hockey, basketball, baseball, and rugby in. So,
I mean, the hockey guys, those line changes, as you said, that'd be like the Cavs being on a fast break. And all of a sudden, 5 new guys just come out on the floor. Like, what is going on? No, hockey play-by-play is amazing to me. Definitely. 3rd and 7 for St. Ignatius at the Avon 32-yard line. Avon with a couple of scores here in the third quarter of play off Ignatius turnovers. And the Eagle lead has ballooned to 27-7 as Ignatius tries to respond.
Another bad
Donovan
snap.
looking left, throwing left, and he overshot his intended receiver and then hit and knocked down after the ball went by him. And we're going to get a flag. Ooh, and now we've got some extracurriculars by Jackson Janicek, offensive tackle for Ignatius. So they were going to call, and they still will, perhaps a personal foul on Avon, but then Jackson Janicek for Ignatius with a big shove on the Avon DB. So let's see how they sort this one all out. Boy, that would be a huge mental error for Ignatius because
they had 15 coming.
Yep. We've got a personal foul against Avon and a dead ball unsportsmanlike against Ignatius. Wow. Yeah, it was Janicek.
So I think what you do, you're going to go 15, spot it, first down, then walk it back 15.
Exactly. Yeah, it was Fenton that committed the personal foul for Avon. So the personal foul against the Eagles will be marched off. But as Tom just said, and accurately so, then they'll say, okay, that was now a dead ball foul against Ignatius, so it's coming back 15 to the 31-yard line. But
here's what Mike wants. Mike wants that to have been the first down spot, so it to be 1st and 25.
And it is, I believe.
Mike said, why didn't you move the sticks on the first down on the personal foul? And the unsportsmanlike dead ball, that should be 15 back, making it 1st and 25.
Instead, they've marked it 1st and 10. Yeah, I agree with that. We'll have to get some clarification from someone listening or watching who's an official. There's another drop snap. Donovan got it on a knee, and he is down at the 36-yard line.
That
Tom,
time
the snaps are low, but I think Donovan.
He's looking away, though. I don't think his eyes are on the ball all the way in. He's looking downfield.
So that's another loss for Ignatius. And, boy, that's about the 4th, maybe 5th time this quarter that ball has been down low. But Donovan's got to adapt to that. So it's now 2nd down and 15. Well, another low snap. Donovan scoops it up, throws, and it's high, but it's caught at the 20 and battling down to the 16-yard line before he got knocked out of bounds. I believe it was Trey Haddad. Well, a big gain for Ignatius. And now we've got an Avon Eagle shaken up on the play. As coming slowly off the field, trying to catch that number for Avon.
Jacob Odie, number 28.
Yeah, Jacob Odie. He's a critical piece of that defense, senior inside linebacker. But Ignatius trying to respond here, giving up 2 touchdowns in the 3rd on 2 short field scenarios for Avon. 27-7, Eagles lead it, 4:46 to go, 3rd quarter. Ignatius in the red zone. They are at the 17-yard line of Avon. As Dane Donovan, the Wildcat quarterback, awaits the snap. That one was perfect. Fires left side, and it's knocked away by Caden Clapham. And, Tom, you talked about how Caden isn't officially listed as a returning starter, but he played a tremendous cornerback for Avon throughout the playoffs last year. And, boy, that was a work of art right there, just knocking that ball away.
Great break on the ball.
2nd down and 10 at the 17-yard line, 4:43 to go here in quarter number 3. Ignatius going left to right, heading towards that Avon student section right underneath the scoreboard to our right. Donovan spins, hands off, no room whatsoever. Thrown down immediately, Owen Colwell. Colwell dropped at the line of scrimmage. That'll make it 3rd down and 10.
We see another one of those shift changes for the Avon. 3 guys in, 3 guys out on the defensive front. Some fresh bodies in there.
3rd and 10.
4 down territory for the Wildcats, no doubt about it.
No doubt. Out wide to the left, the wide side of the field is Luke Sims. As Donovan awaits the snap. Ball just about in the middle of the field. He bangs into Colwell, hung onto the football, and got buried. Boy, it has been mayhem in that Ignatius backfield here in the 3rd quarter of play.
That was supposed to be a counter and just way too slow. The guard and tackle pulled from the right side, and the Avon defensive lineman just followed him and just bull rush Donovan. Never had a chance to get the counter off.
And got an Avon player dealing with some cramping issues right now, so a timeout is called. 3:41 to go, third quarter, 27-7. Avon on top, and now Ignatius facing a 4th and 15 at the Eagle 22. As they tend to the young man dealing with some leg cramps, we'll take a quick timeout on the WEOL mobile app, the Chronicle Telegram's YouTube channel, and Tom online
at WEOL.com.
At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford this month, you choose. Right now, get the Escape, Mach-E, Mustang, or Bronco Sport for only $399 a month with 0 down. Or the Bronco, Explorer, or F-150 for just $499 a month. At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we
will
make
head
it
to
that
the
easy.
sideline and try to get some liquids and alleviate those cramps. 3:41 to go here in the third. This is a monumental play in this football game. 4th and 15 for the Wildcats of St. Ignatius. They're at the Avon 22-yard line. Eagles with a 20-point lead. Ball right in the middle of the field. Dane Donovan will take the snap, and this has been an adventure throughout the third quarter. 4 receiver set. Donovan claps the hands. Good snap. Donovan in the pocket, looks, throws over the middle, and it's knocked down at the goal line. Almost picked off, but perhaps the better play was to let that ball drop as Sammy Ullery had to go in and out of his hands at the goal line, but in the end, Avon will have it as Ignatius's opportunity goes by the boards.
And again, some bad snaps have a part in that, and then, just not getting it done up front that time. The Avon defense really stiffened when they had to.
And here is where Avon could really put the nail at least halfway through the coffin, leading 27-7 with 3:36 to go, third quarter. Avon takes over on downs at their own 22. You start pounding this football and chewing up clock.
Is it too early to call for one of Tomo's death marches here? Is that
might be a coma? Might be a coma march. Elder hands off. Smith left side, and he got out to about the 25-yard line. Keontae Smith, senior running back. Boy, he's shifty. He's one of those guys you're just constantly thinking he's one missed tackle away from a long run.
Great job of making the first man miss on that one.
2nd and 6 at the 25-yard line. Just over 3 minutes to go, third quarter. A third quarter that Avon has dominated. But boy, Ignatius has really been their own worst enemy with a couple of key turnovers early in the period. Snap back to Elder. Looking, hanging a high, deep ball. And there's contact at the 40, and there's the flag. He was looking for Grant Barr. And Barr was in man-to-man coverage against Caden Marvin. Now, again, this will be a 15-yard penalty. As high school football, it won't be down at the 40-yard line. It'll be moved up 15, but a first down and 10 for the Eagles.
And that's one of those you'll see every so often. That ball is actually underthrown, so the defender doesn't have his eyes back. The receiver stops, and the defender runs into him, and the receiver draws the interference call on it.
So the ball comes out to the 40-yard line for Avon. First down and 10. 2:51 to go, third quarter of play. Eagles up 27-7. Tim Elkhorn along with Tom Evans. Gary Pelter manning the camera. Great job for the Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel. Jared Kozar operating things very efficiently. Ball at the 40. Snap back to Elder. Eagle quarterback hangs it down the right side. Again, a lot of contact, but this time no flag as the pass falls incomplete.
Difference that time, the ball's thrown deep, and they're just hand fighting in there. Again, if that ball's underthrown, you might draw a call on that one, but it's thrown deep, so they're just hand fighting. You don't get a call either way on that one.
Finn Jordanic was the intended receiver. That'll make it 2nd down and 10. That ball was more of a line drive.
Yeah.
The previous throw by Elder was more of a high arcing. Yep. That was a rainbow shot from DG from beyond the three-point arc. Here's Keontae Smith, right side, a bit of a crease. as he was able to shed one tackle and fight his way out over the 45 to about the 46-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 4 for the Eagles. Again, for Avon, a long road trip next week. And they're not going like to Cuyahoga County or anything. They're going down to Florida. And it's really cool. They do it every 4 years so that if you're in the program for 4 years, you get one trip.
You get down there, yep.
Yep, you get one trip to Florida. So they'll do it next week. And then they come back home for week 3 against Glenville, I believe.
And we had that one here last year, and that was decided by an extra point. And I think if you ask Ted again today, he'll tell you that he went over the cone, and that was a good extra point. It would have been tied the game and in a downpour here that night. But a heck of a football game we saw.
What do you think Ted would say?
Well,
we've got a conversation going on down on the field. I'm not sure. Oh, there it is, a holding call against Avon. Took a while to figure that one out, but they got the hold on the Eagles. But this Avon team, Tom, they are so dominant here at home.
Yeah.
And this is a tough place to play for any opposing team. So now they move the ball back to the 32-yard line with 2:22 to go here in the third quarter of play. Great to have you with us. And again, a new way of bringing you high school sports, but a new way that's still the old way on the WEOL mobile app and, of course, on WEOL.com, but adding the YouTube component to it. Gotten a couple of texts saying it looks great. How about Pelt going back to his camera work days? Elder looking. There's another high ball down the left side. The fight. Oh, what a catch!
Wow.
At the 35-yard line by Weatherspoon.
Wow.
Jacob Weatherspoon with an acrobatic catch right in front of the Eagle bench. He was tangled up in one-on-one coverage and found a way to catch that football. Wow.
And Caleb Cupp, the defensive back, says, what do I got to do to cover this guy? It doesn't get much better than that.
This may be week 1, but that could end up on the year-end highlight film. Oh, wow, what a catch. 1st and 10 for the Eagles at the Ignatius 34-yard line with 1:35 to go here in the third. That was dazzling by Weatherspoon. Now they give it to Keontae Smith, and he gets belted down at the 35. He may have lost a yard on that play. That'll make it 2nd down and 9.
And that front six still playing pretty stout for the Wildcats in there.
Wait, when you've got athletes like Weatherspoon, to just throw it up and say,
go get it, yep.
Figure out a way, and he does.
A quarterback's best friend.
Well, no doubt about it. We're now under a minute to go here in quarter number 3. It's a 27-7 Avon lead, and they're looking to extend that advantage. 2nd down and 11 at the 35 of St. Ignatius. Elder claps the hands, gets the snap, throws, and boy, a terrific catch inside the 30 by Grant Barr.
Nice job by
Grant.
Grant.
He's a D1 kid.
I thought that was going to slide through there, and Grant snatched it out of the air.
He was immediately dropped at the 29. And Avon does not have to run a play right here, as they've got the play clock running at 35 and the game clock's at 27. So let's see. Well, they break the huddle pretty quickly, so it looks like they are going to try to get a play off here. 3rd and 5 at the 29-yard line. And now Blake has a look over at the bench. We're down to 10 seconds to go in the quarter. On a 3rd and 5. They may want to talk about what play they're going to run here, and I think they will as the clock runs out in the third. We head to the fourth, 27-7. Avon on top of Ignatius, and the Eagles are looking to close the deal. We'll see if they can do it when we come back to start the fourth on the WEOL mobile app, the Chronicle Telegram's YouTube page, and Tom online
at WEOL.com.
Tonight's game is brought to you by Stewart's Appliance. Family owned, locally trusted, and proud to support Lorain County. Whether it's a new fridge, washer, or stove, Stewart's is here for you. Stewart's Appliance, serving families, supporting community.
Hi, Tim Elkhorn, radio voice of the Cavs. For several years, you've heard me talk about Eco-Tree Services on WEOL. Recently, I needed trees removed, so of course, I contacted Eco-Tree. They did an incredible job. The folks at EcoTree were timely, efficient, and the work was flawless. Take it from me, when your trees need attention or even require removal, contact EcoTree Services. Like me, you'll love their work. Find EcoTree Services online at ecotreeservices.com.
At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford this month, you choose. Right now, get the Escape, Mach-E, Mustang, or Bronco Sport for only $399 a month with 0 down, or the Bronco, Explorer, or F-150 for just $499 a month. At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
The fourth quarter of play here at a jam-packed, full house. Use whatever term you want, but they couldn't fit too many more people in here on a gorgeous Thursday night to start the 2025 high school football season. And Avon now with a big threat, looking to really put the finishing touches on Ignatius. They have it 3rd and 5 at the Wildcat 29.
Just got a shout out from my wife to whoever's running the camera. That's Pelt. The cameraman, she gave him a big thumbs up to Pelt. And she also wanted to know if we had mentioned volleyball. I said she's a little late to the party. We talked about volleyball a little bit earlier on.
3rd and 5 at the 29. Handoff, Keontae Smith has a hole right side. Spins off a tackle, takes it inside the 20. Still battling. And got down to the 18-yard line. And actually that was Keontae. So it's 1st down and 10. And again, if Avon puts one on the board right here, that's an insurmountable lead.
Yeah. And that time, Keontae up in the hole real quick before those linebackers from Ignatius could fill on that one.
So the Eagles again in the red zone.
And we're starting to see some hands on hips with that Wildcat defensive line right now, too.
And, Tom, you talked about that at the half, that they have not been rotating guys in and out like Avon did tonight. 1st and 10 for the Eagles at the 18-yard line. Handoff, Smith dancing and spinning. Breaks a tackle, and he's in for the touchdown. Oh, what a run by Keontae Smith. An 18-yard touchdown. 11-17 to go, 4th quarter of play. And that could be the dagger. 33-7. Avon leads it with 11-17 to go on a scintillating run by Keontae Smith. Wow. But again, missed tackles, and I think that's fatigue.
Fatigue. When you start coming up short on tackles, that fatigue plays a role on that.
So after Ignatius tied this game at 7 early in the second, Avon has dominated this football game. Extra point attempt is up, and it is good by Jensen Petro. So it's all Avon, 34-7. They lead Ignatius early 4th quarter at Avon. Back after this on the WEOL mobile app, on the Chronicle Telegram's YouTube page, and Tom online
at WEOL.com.
At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford this month, you choose. Right now, get the Escape, Mach-E, Mustang, or Bronco Sport for only $399 a month with 0 down, or the Bronco, Explorer, or F-150 for just $499 a month. At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
High school football in Lorain County is all about tradition, pride, and community, and that's what Stewart's Appliance is built on. For generations, Stewart's has been the family-owned appliance store you can count on for quality products and personal service. From refrigerators to washers, ovens to dishwashers, Stewart's has what you need to keep your home running. Proud to support Lorain County and proud to support high school sports. Stewart's Appliance, where community comes first.
Well, I think the wind is out of the sails of the Wildcats of St. Ignatius as Avon has ballooned the advantage to 34-7 with 11-17 to go, 4th quarter. And again, this is an Avon team. You go back to that 3rd quarter, Tom. Still a competitive game at the half at 14-7, but when you make a mistake, they pounce.
You can't make 3 turnovers in a quarter and think that you're going to stay with an Avon football team.
Okay, here comes the tennis unforced errors. I mean, some of those just drop.
When you're not getting the quarterback center exchange, that's just those are head scratchers, and then, believe me, that's very frustrating. Coaching staff's going to look long and hard at that. Now, I know Donovan came in relief, but he's got to be getting plenty of reps in practice. He played a lot last year. I don't know if him taking his eye off the ball or we saw some of those snaps were low, so that's a combination of things going on right there.
Rugby, baseball, tennis. There was another one. Oh, basketball.
And
I shouldn't forget about hockey.
We had the shift change.
Jared, did I miss one in there? Kickoff by Avon goes out of bounds, so Ignatius will bring it out. Hey, don't forget after the ball game, the Nick Abraham Elyria Ford post-game show brought to you by Nick Abraham Elyria Ford. And then we want all of you that follow us on Twitter or Facebook or social media to keep those social media outlets open, because after the game, Tom and I are going to dash down to the field and we'll catch Mike Elder for a quick chat, and we'll put that up on social media. So you'll be wanting to hear from Coach Elder, as it looks as though his Eagle team is well on their way to a Week 1 win on their home field. Once again, delighting the home crowd as they have done for so many years. What a program. It is just astounding to watch them year after year after year do what they do.
And what better way to kick off the season than a Thursday night game with packed house here, celebrate a state championship by the Eagles?
Had a couple people ask me, why is this a Thursday night game? I didn't have an answer for that.
Why not?
Although I do wonder when they're leaving for Florida. Oh, and Jared says it was last year too at First Energy Stadium. Won't be too many more high school games at that venue. Dane Donovan rolling left, throwing, complete. And a nice reception and yards after the catch out to the 49-yard line for St. Ignatius is Matt Joyce. So Matt Joyce moves the chains, and now we've got an Eagle down flat on his back right at the 50-yard line. And that's a cramping issue. And again, we talked about Week 1 and mental mistakes and so forth, and usually Week 1 you get some hot, humid nights. It isn't necessarily that here in Avon. It's a very comfortable night, but again, you got to stock the body up with fluids.
And Week 1's always a cramp night. Week 1 and 2 as
no doubt about it. Slowly walking to the Avon sideline is Nathan Peters. So Peters is hobbling off. You've heard all sorts of things over the years about cramping and the old pickle juice.
Pickle juice. Oh yeah, all the remedies.
But in the end, you've got to load up.
You got to front
during
load.
The week.
You got to front load. You can't. Once you get out here, you cannot keep up with it. If you don't front load, you're in big trouble.
So it's first down and 10 for the Wildcats at their own 49-yard line, and now we're going to have an encroachment call against the Avon Eagles. So the ball will cross the 50 and go into Avon territory at the 46-yard line. That'll make it 1st and 5 for St. Ignatius. Mentioned a couple of times that Avon is going to Florida next week to take on a team from North Carolina. For Ignatius, they're home next Friday night, Pickerington North. As the Wildcats will have a home game. Donovan looks left, throws left, and breaking a tackle and breaking another and heading all the way down the left side for a touchdown is Luke Sims.
And that's a good read by Donovan that time, because the corner kind of snuck in and the corner blitzed, leaving the receiver wide open. The safety's supposed to come over and pick that up. He was late getting there, and that's why the touchdown occurs. But that was a good job by Donovan at quarterback, seeing this cornerback sneak in there, come on the corner blitz.
So Sims hauls in the 46-yard touchdown pass from Dane Donovan. For Donovan, that's his second touchdown pass of the ball game, as he tossed one to Haddad from 22 yards out back in the second quarter of play. 34-13 now, as the extra point attempt by St. Ignatius after a low snap is up, and it is good. So we've got a 34-14 Eagle lead, 10:44 to go fourth quarter. We'll take a timeout here in Avon and also on the WEOL mobile app, the Chronicle Telegram's YouTube page, and Tom online
at WEOL.com.
At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford this At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford this month, you choose. Right now, get the Escape, Mach-E, Mustang, or Bronco Sport for only $399 a month with 0 down. Or the Bronco, Explorer, or F-150 for just $499 a month. At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
Tonight's game is brought to you by Stewart's Appliance. Family owned, locally trusted, and proud to support Lorain County. Whether it's a new fridge, washer, or stove, Stewart's is here for you. Stewart's Appliance, serving families, supporting community.
10:44 to go fourth quarter. St. Ignatius with a score to make it 34-14. Avon still with the wide lead. I want to send a shout out to my good buddy Ryan Kilbane. Now, Ryan and I go a long way back. In fact, Ryan did some radio work on WEOL in his earlier career, but back in the late spring, maybe in the summer, trying to remember when it was, Ryan was named the head basketball coach at Strongsville High School, his alma mater. And Ryan, one of the best guys you will ever meet. He invited me over to talk to some of the youngsters when they had basketball camp this summer. That was a great time. Until the youngsters started asking real tough journalistic questions. Like, hey, little guys, and, I thought I was just here to entertain you.
This isn't Stump the Announcer.
No, Ryan, great to have you dialed in on YouTube. He's watching on the Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel, so great to hear from Ryan Kilbane. He drops by the Joe Tate Perch once in a while at Rocket Arena. So Ignatius to kick off, down 20. They're going to kick it deep as that ball will take a bounce at the goal line and head into the end zone for a touchback. 34-14, Avon on top as the 25 season kicked off tonight here in Avon on a Thursday night opener. And, of course, as much as we enjoyed Thursday night action, there's nothing like Friday night high school football. Tom, are you working tomorrow?
We'll be back tomorrow night as the Midview Middies head on over to Westlake to take on the Westlake Demons.
The Southwestern Conference. Westlake.
Yeah, Westlake, yeah.
Yes, yep.
Old SWC.
So here we go. First down and 10 for Avon at the 20-yard line. As Elder now gets under center. Ignatius looking for the run as Avon will try to choose some clock. And they indeed do hand it off, and there is no gain and no room whatsoever. As thrown down immediately was Colburn. Michael Colburn dropped at the 20. Will make it second down and 10.
Colburn spent a little bit too much time looking for a seam that time. He just needs to run hard to the corner. I think he might have picked up 3 or 4 on that.
Well, and now we're going to have a penalty called, and it's a big one against Avon. Holding call. We'll bring it back to the 10-yard line as Ignatius elects to take that penalty. 10.5 minutes to go in the ball game. Still first down, but now 20 to go for the Eagles. They're going left to right here in the fourth quarter of play. As now in that pistol is Elder. They're going to let that play clock run a long way. Boy, they're going to be standing there for a while. We still got 12 on that play clock. Now Elder will hand it off. Colburn tried that right side again, and again there was nothing there. Dropped after a short gain of 1. That'll make it second down and 19. Tom, I want to take a moment because the Avon players tonight on their helmets and throughout the year have the inscription LLJK. And, of course, following their state championship victory, just a thrilling win over Cincinnati Anderson, tragedy struck for the Avon football program as one of the seniors on that team, Jeremiah Kelly, who, of course, was at the University of Cincinnati as a recruit, as now we have a timeout called. But Jeremiah Kelly, while he was at University of Cincinnati, tragically, suddenly passed away. And so the Avon Eagle program honoring Jeremiah Kelly with the LLJK on their helmet, Live Like Jeremiah Kelly. Jeremiah's younger brother, sophomore Josh Kelly, is now wearing that number 73 that his brother wore.
And you see some of the press box workers up here with Jeremiah Strong T-shirts on tonight with Cincinnati Bearcat on the front of it to honor Jeremiah tonight. Certainly hit this community real hard. They
hand off Colburn, and again, he just doesn't have any room. That Ignatius defense playing the run, obviously, as Avon's deep in their own territory and trying to kill some clock right here, and so they're going to continue to run the football. But again, it was such a shattering loss. And talking to Mike Elder about it, he said in all of his years of coaching, not just here in Avon, but his other stops, it was the most difficult thing he has ever had to deal with. He was so close with Jeremiah and the family, and that number 73, Josh will wear it this year in his junior and senior year, but it will become a legacy number here in Avon.
As it should.
And a pass almost picked off as it was deflected. And, boy, that could have been about a 3-yard pick six as it fell incomplete inside the 5-yard line.
Yeah, Luke Spinos almost had a lineman's dream right there, a little touchdown. We might have seen a little defensive tackle dance there if he'd have picked that one off.
Well, there's a defensive tackle dance, and then there's a shuffling of the feet. I mean,
come on, the big guy's got rhythm too.
Yeah,
don't sell him short.
That's a Jared Kozar prom night at Southview dance. So Avon will punt and a low snap. As Petro will get it underway. Line drive kick fielded at the 45-yard line and immediately dropped at the 45-yard line was Trey Haddad. And now we've got some extracurriculars.
They're going to pick up
flags
15.
are flying.
Late hit on that one.
Well, Tom, not to keep repeating the same thing, but if there's been a blemish tonight for Avon, it's been special teams.
Yep.
And talk about offense and defense, that special teams aspect, that's 1/3 of the game. And that's something that perhaps those guys on the bus going down to Florida, they're going to be looking at a lot of video of special teams play.
Some tails getting chewed a little bit, I think.
So all of a sudden, Ignatius with a short field.
And that's a frustrating one. That's an upperclassman comes in and just kind of rolls onto the pile well after the whistle, and that won't make Mike very happy.
Eagles up 34-14, just over 8 minutes to go, fourth quarter, but it's turned into a sloppy final period for Avon. As again, Ignatius with the short field have it at the Eagle 30-yard line. Another low snap. Donovan was able to scoop it up. Now he's under a rush, rolls right and just heaves it into that Ignatius bench over on the far side. Boy, he was under a heavy rush on that play. Again for Avon, just that unrelenting pressure on the defensive side of the football. It's 2nd down and 10 with 7:59 to go. Coming up, we'll have the Nick Abraham Elyria Ford post-game show. Good to have the folks at Nick Abraham Elyria Ford back on WEOL's mobile app and WEOL.com. Another low snap. Donovan under a rush. And there's a flag as he gets crushed at the 38. I thought his head jerked a little bit.
We may get a face mask. Flag went flying in. We're going to get a face mask call on it.
That's what I was just going to say. I thought his head got jerked as he got spun. Did he get grabbed by that face mask?
No, they're going to call holding on.
Holding on Ignatius. Well, the flag was in the middle of the pile. And, well, I thought his head got twisted.
In the Avon sideline, I saw hands going up by the coaches. I thought, maybe we got a piece of the face mask here.
So a break for the Eagles. Bad break for St. Ignatius.
He actually declined the penalty, making
took
it
the sack. Yep.
3rd and a mile and a half right now.
3rd down and about 15 as they need to get to the 21-yard line of Avon. Ball spotted at the 36. 7:35 and the clock running. Here's Donovan under a rush. Hit as he throws. Ball in the air, and it's picked off to the 35 and out to the 40-yard line for Avon. On the interception, Sam Ullery. Boy, Donovan got absolutely waylaid just as he delivered that football.
Avon Lake had a little twist up front, and that lineman came through clean, and Donovan just got whacked, and that ball got popped straight up in the air. Odie ran under it, and nice return by him, about 20 yards.
Second interception of the night for Avon. Jacob Weatherspoon had one earlier. And now Sammy Ullery with the interception for the Eagles. And now Tom Evans, in honor of Tomo, this could be the death march. 7:25 to go. Of course, former color commentator on WEOL, Bob Tomaszewski. He loved that running game, and he loved when you had a big lead in the fourth quarter and you just ran that football to run out the clock.
Ground it out. Let the big dogs eat.
And I always knew it was coming from Bob. Tim, yes, this is the death march. I didn't know you were going to say that, Tomo. Bob, may you rest in peace. Had a lot of fun with Tomo over the years. First down play for Avon. Short gain out to the 41-yard line. We'll make it 2nd down and 9 as we're about to hit the 7-minute mark here in the fourth quarter of play. And again, I'm thinking we'll see some fresh bodies out there at some point for Avon, although they rotate so many guys in and out. Tom.
Right, like I said, that's at 17. They probably had 17 or 18 different guys play offense for them tonight. So
that's a play-by-play man's nightmare. Yeah. There's only so much room on your chart. Elder throws, caught at the 48, but immediately hit and dropped.
And I love what Mike does. He puts a star next to the twos that will play some significant time. Every member of the second defense has a star next to their name.
That catch was made by Jackson Brokaw. Although he was hit and dropped immediately after making the catch at the 48-yard line. We'll set up a 3rd down and 2. But again, short pass, keep it in bounds. Keep that clock running. Eagles up by 20 with 6:05 to go here in the fourth quarter. Elder turns, hands off. Colburn breaks a tackle, heads outside, got to the 50, and dragging a tackler into Ignatius territory to the 45-yard line.
I think that one was designed to go right, and actually he cut that back left and popped it outside, picks up a big first down for him to keep the clock running.
And again, staying in bounds, moving the clock, just chunk yardage, trying to grind this one out and start the season, as they have done so many times, at 1-0. Looks like they're on their way, 34-14 lead with 5:40 left. Play clock down to 10. I mean, everything is just succinct as far as why you win football games and have an elite program. Elder looking, throwing, sideline left, and it's incomplete.
Yeah, that was
almost another acrobatic catch over there.
That was underthrown. He really had the corner beat on that one, just underthrew that a little bit.
He was looking for Barr. Grant Barr, again, 6-foot senior. So what I want to know, when you're out at a high school football field on a Thursday night or Friday night, is there a limit of drones? I feel like I'm at the Avon National Air Show. There are so many drones flying around.
You know, it's kind of funny because I think the OHSAA has something about drone usage now because they've become so big at the game. Originally they were outlawed, that they weren't allowed to be there, and now they've kind of made some kind of stipulations because some of the teams are actually using them to film with. So, and different cities have different ordinances. You know, when I was at Cuyahoga Heights, that it was a no drone zone, man. Those policemen wanted to, I was afraid they were going to start plucking them out of the sky.
Got a timeout on the field with 5:26 to go. We'll sneak in a real quick timeout. 34-14, Avon on top, on their way to a win to open up the season. Back after this on the WEOL mobile app, on the Chronicle Telegram YouTube page, and Tom online
at WEOL.com.
At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford this month, you choose. Right now, get the Escape, Mach-E, Mustang, or Bronco Sport for only $399 a month with 0 down, or the Bronco, Explorer, or F-150 for just $499 a month. At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
5:26 to go. Avon up 34-14. Tom, you mentioned the OHSAA. I have to tell you that this summer I went down. Tim Streed from the OHSAA invited me to go down and talk to stations across the state of Ohio that carry high school sports. I'll tell you the rest of the story, as Paul Harvey used to say after this. Handoff Colburn, not much there as he's dragged down at the 43-yard line. It'll make it 3rd down and 8. So I said, it's great to be here at the invitation of the OHSAA, and high school football is right around the corner. And even though Tim Streed didn't invite me here today, I just want to say the OHSAA had better, and I mean quickly, get rid of the dark uniforms with the dark numbers. That brought a big round of applause from everybody. And the OHSAA is doing something about it.
Good.
Because it's a nightmare.
Well, and that's a little gamesmanship, though, too, by teams.
Yeah, well, it's a nightmare. So, Tim, if you're listening, I'm going to hold you to that. Elder looking deep, throwing left, caught it down inside the 10, and in for the touchdown. Caden Clapham caught it on the far sideline, somehow managed to stay in bounds, and then tiptoed his way into the end zone to our right. And it's a 40-14 Eagle advantage with 4:39 to go. Boy, how about that job by Clapham?
Nice job there. Zeroing the ball in, and also the stop and go to shake the receiver.
So now Clapham with 2 touchdowns in the ball game. Earlier he hauled in a 34-yard bomb. And now another extra point is blocked. Again, special teams for Avon has not served them well tonight. But the scoreboard shows an Eagle 40-14 lead with 4:39 to go. We'll take a timeout on the WEOL mobile app, the Chronicle Telegram's YouTube page, and Tom online
at WEOL.com.
High school football in Lorain County is all about tradition, pride, and community, and that's what Stewart's Appliance is built on. For generations, Stewart's has been the family-owned appliance store you can count on for quality products and personal service. From refrigerators to washers, ovens to dishwashers, Stewart's has what you need to keep your home running. Proud to support Lorain County and proud to support high school sports. Stewart's Appliance, where community comes first.
So Blake Elder as the starting quarterback his senior year in week 1 with a couple of nice touchdown passes to Clapham, one from 34 yards out, and now that one from 44 yards out. And Avon's up 40-14. Boy, Tom, the more things change, I mentioned as far as our coverage is concerned, the more they stay the same, and it's that way with Avon football.
Yep. It's even beyond reloading. You know, it's a.
But, you know, we played those interviews at the half. I hope you folks listening or watching on the Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel had a chance to hear those former Avon football players, Carter Rudy and Jake Sopko. But they talked about growing up in Avon and being in your backyard and thinking you were one of the Avon Eagle players. I mean, it's from that mentality that this thing has just taken off. As the end-over-end kick fielded inside the 5-yard line. Here's Colwell. He's got some room, 35-40, and on the run out to the 45. But the kids that are here tonight, 7, 8, 10 years old, whatever, they're thinking about when my time comes.
Absolutely. They're wearing a favorite player's jersey out there. They know who, some of these kids are like gods to them, and they do a lot of things like they'll go into the elementary buildings and they'll do some reading. They have some of those programs that they do, and the kids, and they're just bigger than life to some of the young kids in the community, and that's how that tradition gets built, and that's how it continues on. I talked to Mike a couple of years ago that, you know, a lot of programs say next man up. It's not next man up here because you have to earn that spot. So when something opens up, you got to go get it. You got to go take it. It's not, nothing's bequeathed to you.
Ignatius, first down and 10 at their own 45, and well, there's a lot of room on the handoff for Nick Rivera. We've seen a lot of him on the defensive side tonight. He gets all the way down inside the Avon 35. They'll spot him at the 31.
In the old days, we'd say there's 11 clean jerseys on the field. Now with AstroTurf, they're all clean, but there's 11 fresh bodies on the field right now.
We're down to 4:20 to go. Avon with a comfortable 40-14 lead, as Ignatius is going to keep running the football. That pitch right seems to be working well, as that time it was Zach Putka, as he was able to fight his way down close to the 20-yard line. So 2 big chunk runs by St. Ignatius. But a big chunk of that fourth quarter clock has been burned, as we're under 4 minutes to go. But the Wildcats have it at the Avon 20-yard line. Dane Donovan, he's been the QB since about midway through the second. Quick pass, and it's complete, but a short gain has dropped at the 18-yard line for the Wildcats. Michael Wirtz. Well, the Wildcats are getting some fresh bodies in there as well. Second down and about 8. And again, Ignatius certainly well aware of what this outcome is going to be tonight. But trying to get some positive things on video to show next week. There's another quick hitter complete on the near side. Making the catch was Luke Sims. Sims hit and dropped at about the 14-yard line. We'll set up third down and 3 with 3:05 on the clock. Again, the Nick Abraham Elyria Ford post-game show coming up. Nick Abraham Elyria Ford at the corner of Route 57 and East Broad Street. Looking, throwing, and was it caught? No, incomplete at the 8-yard line. Ball was in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, the tight end. And that'll make it fourth down and 2 at the 12-yard line. Intended receiver was Charlie Blasco for St. Ignatius. Tom, you mentioned earlier we'll let this play run through, as another low snap to Donovan, rolling to the right, wide side of the field, floats it to the back of the end zone and floated it right out of the end zone. Incomplete pass, and the ball will go over on downs to Avon. And the Eagles will now just try to run out the clock with 2:42 to go, leading 40-14. But Tom, you mentioned earlier it's an Ignatius program, all sorts of state championships and deep runs in the playoffs, but coming off that 1-win season last year, first time since the late 1940s. How does Ignatius get that mojo back?
Well, you got to win, first of all.
Right.
You got to find some wins. And if you look at their schedule's brutal. They don't.
You're right.
Look down that 10-game schedule, and there's not an automatic win on that schedule. You know, they've always picked North, Menor, Walsh Jesuit. We know how good they are. Riverside, Benedictine, St. Ed's, Moeller, St. Xavier, and then Clarkson North. There's not a gimme on that schedule for them, but you got to get a win, and you got to build off of that win. They don't start believing until then.
Right.
So you can tell them everything. You show them all the film. You can do all that until they start getting some W's. They don't start believing. And after a 1-10, and of course with the structure of the playoffs, 1-9 gets them in last year. So they get a first round game, and I think they had Menor maybe in the first round and got beat for the second time against Menor last year. But
by the way, we were talking about the OHSAA and drone regulations, and at some point the dark numbers on the dark uniforms are going away. At least that's according to Tim Streed. What do you think about the new playoff concept?
I don't like it, and I tell you why. Because I'll get you after this play.
All right, first down and 10 as Avon has it at their own 14-yard line, 2:42 to go. As I believe that was Colburn again. Short gain to the 16-yard line will make it second down.
We got to go to Vermilion last year, and Vermilion got to host the game. If it were a 12-team playoff, Vermilion doesn't host. They host a playoff game, tremendous atmosphere, hard-earned, great season by them, great playoff win for them. If it's a 16-team field, they get a home game. If it's a team feel they don't. They're on the road. They don't get to experience that, and that community deserved that. That team deserved that, to have that home game, and that was a tremendous atmosphere. And I think anytime you reduce opportunities, I think that's a mistake.
Well said. Under 2 minutes to go, and there's another handoff for the Eagles, and boy, that play got blown up in a hurry, as thrown down was Dean Andrus. And,
a lot of the naysayers, we're saying, it's the OHSAA wants the money. It's not about money, and it never is. And it's about teams having the opportunity to do that. And you think about this now, football is the only OHSAA sport where everybody doesn't go to the playoffs. It's the only sport where everybody isn't automatically in the playoffs. So there's a selection process, and people often don't realize that, too. You can be 0-24 in basketball. Guess what?
You're going
to play
tournament.
A sectional game.
Yep.
You cannot win a wrestling match. Guess where you're wrestling at? You're going to wrestle in the sectional tournament. So, I'm not saying everybody should be in, but I thought the 16 team was good. It was fair.
Good point. Well, there was an unsportsmanlike against Ignatius, which moved it up 15 yards, and now Avon has it 1st and 10 at their own 32-yard line, as they can pretty much run this one out. We're down to a minute and a half to go, so Avon's going to open up the 2025 season with a resounding win at home. They lead 40-14, and in all likelihood, unless something really bizarre happens, that'll be our final score here at Avon. So for the second straight year, they score 40 or more against Ignatius. Last year's final was 41-21, and it looks like this year's final will be 40-14. And again, Avon heading to Florida for week 2, and then back home week 3 when they take on Glenville. So with the final seconds to come off the clock, Avon, I think, is going to take one more knee. We'll get ready to take our timeout, as Avon will win it by a final of 40-14. And they once again showing they're one of the premier teams, if not the best team, in Northeast Ohio and perhaps the state. 40-14, Avon wins it. The final knee of the game is taken. We'll be back. Our Nick Abraham and Leary Ford postgame show follows this on the WEOL mobile app, on the Chronicle Telegram's YouTube page, and Tom online
at WEOL.com.
At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, this month you choose. Right now, get the Escape, Mach-E, Mustang, or Bronco Sport for only $399 a month with 0 down, or the Bronco, Explorer, or F-150 for just $499 a month. At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
High school football in Lorain County is all about tradition, pride, and community, and that's what Stewart's Appliance is built on. For generations, Stewart's has been the family-owned appliance store you can count on for quality products and personal service. From refrigerators to washers, ovens to dishwashers, Stewart's has what you need to keep your home running. Proud to support Lorain County and proud to support high school sports. Stewart's Appliance, where community comes first.
40-14, Avon a winner over St. Ignatius to open the 2025 season before a packed house here at Avon. And so the Eagles once again in a dominant performance. Tom Evans, they were a little bit slow to get it all rolling on the offensive end, but then once they did, it was clicking. Defensively stout as always. As we mentioned, there's some work to do on the special team side.
Yeah, Mike likes that. He gets a W tonight. They take advantage of some turnovers, some miscues by the Wildcats, but then a lot to build off of. I think he saw some real positives. I think his quarterback showed some really good things. Clapton certainly stepped up, and but there's plenty to work on.
2 touchdown runs from Keontae Smith, one from 1 yard out. It was the first score of the ball game, and then Keontae had an 18-yard run in the fourth quarter of play. A couple of touchdown runs for Wendell, both from 1 yard out, one in the second, one in the third. And Blake Elder with 2 touchdown passes, both to Caden Clapham, one in the third and one in the fourth. So they had a little bit of everything tonight on the offensive end.
Spread around. I got to get a little shout-out. Got a hug from old Berea football player Lance Ferris. When I first year at Berea, Lance was a senior. They're on a real good team that actually lost to Ignatius in the playoffs, went down to West Virginia. He's now coaching the offensive line for the Wildcats. Love Lance to death. Threw the shot for me when I coached track in the spring. Great, not a young man anymore, but everybody's young man to us, I guess. But a little shout out to Lance. I told him, keep plugging away. Keep plugging away.
You know, I mentioned earlier, 40 years ago, I did my first high school football game on the radio. I thought about that earlier. Those dudes are now 57 and 58 years old. They don't even remember those games. 40-14, Avon a winner over St. Ignatius. You're dialed in to the Nick Abraham Elyria Ford post-game show. Nick Abraham Elyria Ford at the corner of Route 57 and East Broad Street in Elyria. We'll take a timeout. More to come. We'll put the finishing touches on this one as we'll close it out in Avon on the WEOL mobile app, the Chronicle Telegram's YouTube channel, and Tom online
at WEOL.com.
At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford this month, you choose. Right now, get the Escape, Mach-E, Mustang, or Bronco Sport for only $399 a month with 0 down, or the Bronco, Explorer, or F-150 for just $499 a month. At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
Hi, Tim Elkhorn, Cavs radio voice. Recently, we had some trees removed. So again, singing the praises of EcoTree Services. In a few hours, EcoTree had removed the unsightly trees, cleaned the debris, and opened the area for a new fence. I can't say enough good things about the people at EcoTree. I've used them several times, always thrilled with their work. If you have trees that require pruning or need to be removed, contact EcoTree, a local business that deserves your business. They've earned mine. Go to ecotreeservices.com.
40-14, Avon a winner over St. Ignatius tonight. Big win for the Eagles to open up the 25 season before a huge crowd here at Avon. Tom, final thoughts before we wrap it up?
Great one to start with. 2 programs with tremendous tradition. Looks like more of the same from Avon, but again, they're going to walk away with some things to build off of here. Ignatius goes from the frying pan into the fire. We talked about that meat grinder of a schedule, but a great way to kick off the 25 football season for us with our new format here. Really looking forward to the season.
And again, I want to really send out a huge congratulations to those involved in this new venture as far as WEOL.com and the Chronicle Telegram's YouTube channel. Tonight we broke it in. Although, as we said, the more things change, the more they stay the same. It has always been WEOL.com and the WEOL mobile app. But to bring this to folks now via video on the CT's YouTube channel was just tremendous. Jared Kozar, outstanding work tonight. Thank goodness I didn't have to read the grease board because he was busy on the computer making sure everything was running smoothly. Although he took offense, he took umbrage to my Jared Kozar Southview prom night dance routine. Yeah, don't show that again, ever.
Good thing the camera's not turned around.
Yeah, and Gary Pelter, great work on the camera.
We might get fined by the FCC.
Rocco Nucci again. Everybody that was involved with this, Bill Hudnut, I think we got it off to a really good start tonight. So I want to thank all of them for having me be a part of it. Tom, somehow or another, we didn't work together last year.
I know,
so
we missed out.
It was great to work with you again.
Fun being back.
Man. It's like Peaches and Herb once said.
There we go.
Yeah, and as Jared danced to it, prom night. Reunited.
There we go.
Oh, I don't want to know the girl that he danced with that to, though. Anyway, 40-14, big win for Avon. That's going to do it. Again, high school football tomorrow night on the WEOL mobile app and on the Chronicle Telegram YouTube page and, of course, WEOL.com. But a huge win for the Eagles to start things off. For Tom Evans, Gary Pelter, Jared Kozar, I'm Tim Elkhorn. Thank you so much for listening. Want to let you know that tonight's Avon St. Ignatius game was brought to you by Nick Abraham Elyria Ford at the corner of Route 57 and East Broad Street. EcoTree Services, your complete tree care company. Valley Chevrolet on State Route 18 in Wellington. And by Stewart Appliance on Cleveland Street in Elyria. Tim Elkhorn.